What's up? D's right in. Looks like we're going to be waiting a little bit on Usman. He had a little bit of car trouble. What's up, D? How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Oh, having a good night. Just got all the way back from Ann Arbor, man. My wife's coworker invited my kid to a birthday party at the ice arena for U of M. So that was kind of cool.
Yeah, it's been busy with just like the last couple of days, Christmas, my birthday, and then New Year's on the weekends. But man, it's
Well,
just been
happy birthday.
thanks, man. Appreciate it. But yeah, it's been pretty darn pretty darn
Pretty
wild the last couple of days though. Been good.
Sounds good. I mean, it's the time of the year, man. There's so much shit going on between the holidays and then work and life and all that crap.
Shit.
Definitely a difficult one. So tonight, what we really wanted to push, that me and Usman been chatting back and forth about, is to kind of start looking into these lines and talk about strategies and ideas for 2024. Was the whole plan. Uh, I don't know exactly what he's getting on here, but I've always tried to. I did ask somebody one time, like if there was an equation or something that they tried to use for line movement in like a certain amount of like how far should it move with time? Is there any kind of equation? And the guy, I think he just responded with me and said, well, if it matches with what you are betting, then it's good. And I was like, well, what in the hell is that? That's not helping anything. That's just saying to say
Hey, what do you think is the most like the fights that there's obviously some fights that have been announced. I mean, what fight would you want to see in 2024 that has yet to be announced?
that has yet to be announced. I mean, well, so you would already count the John Jones and Stipe fight, right? Because it's been talked about.
I mean,
Because I mean, that's what I want to be announced, and I want to see what happens. I want to know if fucking John Jones is going to retire or if he's going to continue fighting. I think if he retires, he's a complete idiot
it doesn't
because he could just make
true
so much damn money.
because the thing is with John is that like you were here for so long. I mean, you got popped. That's legitimate, but like the waiting process of you going up to heavyweight and at least two fights in like what 3 years is just like, bro, come on now,
Yeah,
plugging up the division. And when when he leaves, sure, people are gonna say he's the GOAT of all time. I mean, yeah, that's arguable enough, but
mm-hmm.
like Tom Aspinall is gonna keep that division moving,
Yeah,
and it's just gonna be like at least there's good motion in the heavyweight division, and not like waiting a God knows how long, many years, whatever. But I think Tom Aspinall, I will. Someone's probably gonna counter it. That's fine.
mm-hmm.
He's gonna be there for a while, fellas. I really think so. Like
I mean,
years
there's a lot
upon
of
that.
people on his wagon. I mean, he's only lost once or to the same guy, right? Or the one guy,
He's,
and then he or the people that he's lost to, he's beat them, right?
but I mean, his
Or
style is
besides
so
his injury, I
crisp.
know he had an injury loss, but that's an injury loss. Joe's
I
had his
mean,
hands up for
yeah.
a while. What's up, Joe?
Joe, sorry.
Well, first I'll say Aspinall won't defend twice. He'll be a typical heavyweight. He'll defend once at best, and he'll probably get knocked out like the rest of them do.
Yeah,
A guy like that feeling like he's big enough and bad enough to challenge Alex Piera to come up to 150 pounds or 250 pounds and strike with him is actually a piss poor decision. Just because you knocked out Pav and some other guys that weren't previously world class kickboxers, it's probably a piss poor decision to be calling out AP. what she's doing. But I wanted to backtrack. You were talking about line movement, and so for me, I'm a big believer that Vegas doesn't lose. They just don't.
Yeah.
And bet online, sure as fuck does not lose. So when they put out a line that's minus 200 on a fighter, and I see it move to, let's just say, plus 105
Hmm.
or minus 110.
So a true flip
To
of a
me,
dog to a favorite.
like even just the movement, even if they move from 300 to minus 100,
Hmm.
and obviously there's a fighter on the flip side of that moving from low odds to high odds, but for me, I really look at those lines to try to see if everybody's wrong or Vegas is wrong. Like it's a big alarm for me that those are spots to make money.
Hmm.
And the reason I say that is Vegas doesn't lose. So 90% of the, I'd say 70% of the time, and I think I've actually looked that up, and I believe it is real close to 70% of the time, the line was set correctly, meaning the favorite was the favorite and the dog was the dog, like 70% of the
Yeah.
time. So, so like when I find shit like Darren Elkins, right?
Hmm.
Darren Elkins is going to go back and look. He had line movement. Like he had line movement. And I believe people were fading him. And I'm like, no, that's wrong. Darren Elkins is going to kill this guy. But it was, with Darren Elkins, I feel like it was a little bit easier of a cap. But the line movement is what will trigger me. If I see something move more than 100 or 150, I'm immediately looking at someone's going to lose their ass there. Either the books or the better. So I don't know. I can't say like there's a rule as to which side I take. I'm just saying that like that's when I know to look, and that's when I usually find myself trying to find what did the bookie see. I don't find myself looking for what's everybody else see. No, no, no. What did the bookie see? Why did the bookie set it at minus 200?
Well, and you
So
do
I
see
don't
a
know.
lot of when I look at most of these lines a couple weeks ago when we were doing what ones did we miss? Where were the good ones? Were the talks that me and Usman were hitting? You do see a lot where the line drops like immediately after its original setting. So, like even just this one thing I was looking at right now, which is the tomorrow there's a grappling event, Fury Pro grappling. It's got Sterling as the main event. But you see some of these guys where they'll start off at like uh, minus 700, and then immediately it changes drastically higher or lower or something like that. So I always kind of wonder, like, why in the hell does that happen? Or if I just look at the next, event on the 16th or on the 12th, if you look at anybody, the Johnny Walker or something like that, uh, Magdamed, he started off at a minus 600, but in the same, like an hour later, he was a minus 550. I
Well, so that's gonna reflect early betting, and I mean I know that that's obvious, but what I mean by that reflects early betting is so the way a line is supposed to work. This is how it is supposed to work. The bookie is supposed to look at whatever it is, the fight for us, right? Is supposed to look at the fight and supposed to set a line that he thinks will draw an even amount of action for each bettor.
Mhm.
Then they take 10% of each bet. So the ideal situation for the bookie is to set the line perfect, get even amount of bets on both sides, take the VIG, which is the 10%, and cash out.
Yeah.
But once that line is set, I don't know how true this is in 2023, but once that line is set, it is supposed to move based strictly on bets. And the way that like I don't like bet online has like man, I think it's called red carpet, where if you bet X amount a month, you get red carpet. You get to hit the lines someone has told me you get to hit the lines a little earlier than everybody else. Like they tell you what they're gonna be and when they're dropping. Basically, like
Okay.
if you're a red carpet better, they let you know, like, hey, we're dropping lines for these fights at 2 p.m. on Thursday. So now all the people that bet the most amount of money and the people that, the people that bet the most amount of money, it's that simple, now know as soon as that line is going to drop. And when it does, they go place their bet, which is why you'll see movement either way. But what that does is it begins the line movement based on the money placed. So I can't say for sure in 2023 that it works like it's supposed to, but that's why. So like $5,000 goes down or $10,000 goes down by the red carpet guys, and those guys are betting
Yeah.
50,
Their
100,000 a
units are
week.
not what
Like,
our units are at all.
yeah, they're dropping 2 units on it,
Yeah.
and it's 20,000, right? But that line drops at 2 p.m. and by 2:08, it's got fucking 120,000 on it, which a lot of people are like, "Oh, that's not a lot of money." It's not,
Yeah.
but in the first hour of the line
It is.
opening,
Yeah.
it is, and it sets where the line moves from where the bookie started it. So like you're really watching the red carpet betters, and it doesn't mean that they're sharp, bro. It does not mean they're sharp.
Oh,
You might have guys that are sharp at football, but fucking blow their wad in MMA every week. So that's if it works the way it's supposed to. That is how that
I did
works.
hit a bunch, like two parlays around Christmas because I was bored and all I had was football on. So I did like picked two teams to win with the handicap, and then I picked an over for for three different games on a parlay, and I hit both of them. I was like, man, this is fucking pretty badass. I didn't even do any research on this shit. You just kind of, I mean, you can look at some basic how many points, who's home, what's the weather like, and stuff like that, so you can kind of see it. I don't know. I just
Well,
my big thing about
yeah.
line movement, and I mean, it makes sense what you're talking about though, because to see that big drop is obviously going one way or the other. It's just they're usually a lot higher. I would say I've noticed the pattern of whatever the original line is, it moves somewhere right away, and I would say by like more than just 100. So and I was doing that when I was writing down all of our stats when me and Usman were doing it. Is what do I really call the opening line? Because 5 seconds later it was way lower. So that's where that mindset was like. But I guess it makes sense of what you're saying that somebody could be putting 20 grand on it within an hour, and so they got their feedback from their red carpet guys on their line start.
Yeah, and in turn, because there's no money wagered yet in the pool, it just tilts it one way like crazy. Like imagine a line as a god damn it, I wish I knew a coin pendulum where you have the two trays of coins on each side.
Yeah,
The idea for the book is that they set it correct enough that that stays even and they take 10% before they let the winners have the winning. So it's one hand washes the other, and so you got to figure if somebody drops 20 or 50 grand on the tray right out the gate, that bitch is going to slam to the floor, and now everybody who wants to jump on is going to get shittier money on it, or twice as many people are going to have to go against it just to get the scale back up. Like it's a fucking weird system, and I can't say that I know for sure that I understand it perfectly, but I have been being taught how to gamble, how to run books, and how to make money doing that since I was a young
yeah.
child.
I mean, one of the books that I read into gambling, because I probably read about four or five. It was just making sure about the stud. The stud that's going to try and push that line to get somebody who's just going to fall for it. You're trying to get more of like the idiot, the moron to fall for the line. So if they're going to give it to them at say minus 300, you're trying to show that it's a guy that you have a lot of confidence in. But if you make it more like higher, well, then the higher you get, the more that it's obviously you're going to have to put up more, to actually make it even worth your while putting all that money up to take the chance. But then you have the other way where they're trying to get the chump to fall for it, that this line's too good to be true, or yeah, he doesn't deserve to be a 300 fave. So now I'm going to go for the dog. Well, you just fell for it.
Well, yeah. So
He might have
I've
not been
definitely,
300, but he definitely should have been a favorite.
yeah. I wish I had examples like I wrote down or docked over time, but like I have definitely said out loud in spaces before. The bookie knows we're gonna bet the name. The lines are wrong. The bookie, because that's got to hold value to them too. They've got to know, like, okay, like, and I'm just gonna make a fight up, and I don't want to debate how close it's gonna be, but let's just say, Paulo. No, 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 that's not a good enough one. Let's say
Bo Nickel versus Cody Brundage.
Nah.
Well, what is it? Let me
Yeah,
look at it.
yeah. That see, that is a legit landslide, though, right? But let's say it was Bo Nickel versus give me a top like a number 12 or a number
And number 12
8.
for he's
Uh,
he's middleweight, right? Or welterweight.
yeah,
What is he?
middleweight. So who you got sitting down at like number 12?
Just didn't he just freaking uh,
Chris Curtis.
All right, so there you go, right? Chris Curtis, real bettors are going to bet Chris Curtis, right?
okay, yeah.
But they know that Bo Nickel has a 500,000 followers that are going to hammer his line. So they know coming out the gate, like, listen, when we handicap the tape, Bo's probably a minus 200 on this one.
Uh-huh.
Action Man's only lacking in the grappling, but Bo Nickel's going to get fucking hammered because he's famous and he always gets hammered. So then that's the book's line. It's the book's duty to say, all right, well, we got to balance that. Let's set them at 400 because that'll push away all of the chum betters who got $50 just to throw on Bo Nickel. And only people who are actually betting are going to take him at minus 400. So, like, I don't think that the line is always set based on dudes sitting there watching tape like they make us think in the movie Casino, bro. I think it's some of that, but I think some of it is name value too. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like they know Buckle's getting hammered. You know Chimaev is getting hammered. No matter who he fights, you could put fucking Chimaev in there against Adesanya, and that's what you would need to put, is what I'm trying to say. You would need to put him in there against somebody like Adesanya to stop his name from being betted. But until he can reach someone with the same amount of fame, bro, they got to compensate for that. And they got an algorithm somewhere, some
Oh, I
asshole with
got
a
all
notebook
kinds of them. I mean, that's the main
who can
thing
say,
about all the books I've read. Really tell you. Remember, you're fighting a machine. Yeah,
yeah,
they'll
the
start the
other,
line and they know how to play the game and they're going to make sure that they make their money. But you got to remember, they're using software now, especially when you're talking about big games. That's the reason why you're seeing these over unders and all in all sports. And it's just amazing how close it is in these numbers, and having a guy just get you by 2 points, and you're like, how in the hell? Because they put that all into, I'm an accountant. So of course, I took a lot of statistic classes and calculus and all of that fun times of my life in the past. So I understand how that shit really works. But to now that we are in the AI time of software that can run all this shit for you with all the stats that they have in the big four sports. I mean, they're trying to get it in MMA with stats, but we can only get with what we have. All the other sports have stats for freaking decades and almost a
so
century in baseball. So you put all that
what
shit
it
in there,
takes
you're going to
though.
base your line off of it. Is all I'm saying.
So, but how they do it is it's like points, like key points or rhythm points.
Mm-hmm.
So, like what I want to do, so there's a lot of small projects for our website before I do a big scrape. And what a scrape will be is when I literally have a bot created that goes out and scrapes X, Y, and Z website and gets all of the data that website has, all of it on every fighter, every fight, everything. And we don't have to get into details, but you guys know the sites that I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Once we have it, copy it. And this will probably be, man, I'd hope that we had this up by the end of the year because this has been on the list. But once we copy all those statistics, we just write key points. Like we say, okay, we want it to go get the data and we want to know age at time of fight. We want to know reach, length, average fight times, all the bullshit statistics we get, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then we want a matrix for everything. And what that would do is it would give us back pie charts that say fighters winning percentage by age, right? And it would show you a pie chart based on age to when a fighter has aged out and never won. And it would show you where that fighter sits. Then it's going to go to a fighter with 79-inch reach fighting a fighter with 76-inch reach, and it's going to give you that percentage. And then it's going to go a 5'9" fighter fighting a 5'8" fighter, and it's going to give you that percentage. But then what it's going to be able to do for you is cross those 2 points and tell you, well, if we combine them both, it's this percentage. And then what you end up with is basically, imagine it as a bunch of red lights and green lights. You end up with 40 green lights for this guy and 20 green lights for this guy. And that's what an algorithm is. An algorithm isn't it's not anything more than that. It's literally just betting the statistical data that hits every time.
Well,
That
and
is
like
what
you
it
said
is.
earlier, you want it to hit that 50-50.
Yeah, so for them,
You want
they're
everybody to
looking to
think it's a
set that
coin flip.
line. Yeah, they're looking to set that line, take all those factors and set it in the middle. When there are guys out there that are betting algorithms, but what those guys are doing is they've started tracking all these points of data about fighters for every fight that
Mm-hmm.
comes out, right? And they're manually tracking it. But the problem is, like you just said, this is the day of AI.
Mm-hmm.
You've got to create a bot, you've got to know how to do that, and you've got to tell it, go get me all that data.
Yeah.
I don't have 400 hours to try and input it. I need you to spend 40 minutes and go get it all
Well,
for me
especially
and put it
now,
all
all
in
the
a
damn
file.
fights we got. I mean, these fights are way, way more amount of bouts we're getting today than we ever did in the past. I mean,
Yeah, I mean, and there will definitely be some magic to knowing, listen, man, if a guy is 5'9" with 76 inches of reach
uh-huh.
and fights a guy that's 5'7" with 71 inches of reach, he wins 88% of the time. It
Yeah.
doesn't matter who the fighter is. And you might go, well, that's the stupidest fucking thing I've ever heard. But if the algorithm says, look, we can use that stat and see that stat hits 88% of the time, you now have a rule. That's where a rule comes from. So we bet that bet every single time that it happens because it hits at whatever percentage. I'm very into algorithm betting, but I understand that it takes money
Yeah.
and it takes a group of people to algorithm bet. You cannot do it by yourself.
Yeah.
That is
No
not
doubt
possible.
about that. Yeah, I agree with you on that. Well, I do have a good example of what you're saying, like that Gene Silva versus Weston Wilson that's coming up in a couple weeks. That is the same type of thing. So it went from it was minus 350 when it opened on the 14th at 10. Let's see, what time does it say? At 10:48, and it was down to minus 800 in 2 minutes. Yeah, it was from 10:58 p.m. at minus 350, minus 800 at 10:48. By the 15th, it did drop a little bit to minus 725, and then went right back down to 800 as of the 19th. So, but when you look at it, I was like, damn, when I first seen the amount, I was like, what is so great? And the height advantage, when you look at uh, the details on paper, he's like 5'7", and this dude's like 6'1". And I was like, what the hell is going on with this? But then as soon as you go into Wilson's breakdown, he's 16-8. He's 0-3 in LFA. He's 0-1 in UFC with getting knocked out by another short guy, Jordanson, Burrito. He knocked him out in the first round. So yeah, on paper this makes sense. And the only wins that this guy has is all in the first round, and they're all chokes. He's obviously just a submission guy. So if he can't get anywhere near anybody, the line makes sense to me.
Yeah, but so for me, how I would watch that, right, is how I would feel watching that. And I'm being really honest. You said it opened at, tell me what it opened at, and then it hit
350
800,
minus 350. 2 minutes
and it
later,
hit
it's at
800.
800.
Okay, so to me, all the early action when all the immediate action went one way, and it's because motherfuckers looked real quick and went, oh, 16-8, no LFA wins, no UFC wins, none of that. And they're like, hammer against that dude,
Yeah.
right? So the line movement that I worry about or that I bet with is when I see a guy gradually move from minus 100 to, or what, I'm just making it up, but minus 200, and it takes 3 weeks, but he slowly gains to minus 450.
Mm-hmm.
And you look at the chart, and the chart never shows anything but it going one way. To me, that's when I'm like, all right, everybody that's capping tape, everybody that's breaking this fight down is seeing it this way. And as time goes on, everybody who is looking at this fight is seeing the same thing. But then once you're 3, 4, maybe even 5 days out from the fight, all that goes out the window. You're just waiting for odds to change so you can make better bets and everything. Because once you're inside, I'd say Monday, and those lines start posting on places like fucking DraftKings,
Mm-hmm.
like it's, in my opinion, that's too late to watch it. But if you watch a line move nonstop at a slower pace, I feel like you can just, that's real line movement. Handicappers are picking that fighter. Um, just my opinion,
Yeah,
man.
hey,
Just my
hey,
opinion.
that's what this episode's all about. So, Usman, I know that you had a little car trouble today, but how we doing, bro? You are the co-host of this show.
Chilling, chilling. I'm here washing dishes, listening to y'all talk right now.
Jeez, you had to fix the
One
car.
thing,
Now you got to do the dishes. This ain't right.
one thing I was going to bring up and ask Joe, completely putting all biases aside because I know how both of us feel about this fighter. But I was looking at some line movement today for the Ilya Tapuria fight and Volkanovski, and across all websites that have. Across all websites that have lines available, he has slowly moved down from I think around 160, 180, plus 160, plus 180 area to plus 125. So, what would you think about that?
How long did that take?
From December 4th to now, he hasn't flipped or anything, but
See, so
I'm
the
looking
all
me,
the
at my
charts are
bookie
going
right
down.
now. So my bookie
so to
has minus
me,
180 on November 20th. Then it drops, or yeah, it drops a little
you're
bit.
looking at Volk. We're talking about Ilya, right?
Yeah, I'm looking at Volk. So Volk went from -7 or -800, then -70, back to 180. And now, as of the 29th, so just today, he's down to -160.
Yeah, so that shows me that everybody is slowly betting against him.
Yeah.
For me, watching the books, watching lines, if I'm like, if I was just going to place a bet based on odds, to me, all right, everybody that's looking is seeing it. Not the guys with the big money out the gate. Oh, I fucking 50 G's. Bow, that's my man. No, 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 not those betters, not those guys. We've seen. And you got to remember too, something else to remember is it takes more money to move a line from minus late like later in, it takes more money to move a line from minus 200 to flip it than it does to than to move it from like minus 600 to minus 400. The closer you get, the balance that you're literally trying to shift the scales at that point. So
Mm-hmm.
um the fact that it hasn't flipped or doesn't flip wouldn't alarm me. The fact that it has steadily moved in one direction would tell me that most handicappers are going, fuck,
I
Ilya's
bet,
going to beat this guy.
and I betted on him right when it dropped. When Taporia came out, I have the slip still that I got him at plus 155.
And that's a great line because he's going to win.
Yeah, I hope so. I mean, I've had this damn thing. When did I make that bet? I made that bet November 21st. I'm sitting here having this thing on my damn sheet.
So when do what what uh what odds, and I'm talking to everybody with a mic here, what odds are your threshold for not worth my money to bet? Meaning, like, if you bet $10 units, okay, and you're
Hmm.
a guy who isn't a long term better, like meaning you just leave it in your account, minus 500, betting $10 to get $2, you're gonna be like, I'm not fucking doing that. That's
Yeah,
stupid, right? But if you were betting 10 grand, you'd be like, oh yeah, I'll make a quick 2 G's for my day worth of work, right? So
hmm,
what odds are no's? Because for me, I will bet something I like to all the way to about minus 550 if I feel like I'll say like a woman's over that I'm like, it's free. I don't care
I
what
usually
anybody on
try to turn
says, it's
those into
free.
2 leg parlays.
Me too, but I'll still take them. What I'm
Yeah,
saying is I'll still take them. I probably wouldn't take it at minus 800 because I'm like, it's just not worth
yeah.
just.
To me, I just start that. That's all my prop bets. If you're a minus eight, if it's a bone, nickel fight, I'm going to put more of my money on inside the distance and finishes and submissions, knockouts, rounds, that type of stuff. Because trying to put like $800, or I think the line right now for him's 15 minus 1500. Yeah, I'm not putting my house just because I know that he's going to win, so I can make a couple $1,000. But that is kind of the crazy part about him. What about you guys, Connor, Usman? You guys got anything on this question?
Yeah, so that is one thing that I have been struggling with in the sense of like I would call myself a decent better, a good better. But one thing that I would definitely call myself is a pussy better. And I don't have the biggest unit size, $20.
Story of
Um
my life, man.
I'm
Damn unit's
I'm
too small.
I'm not I'm not in the red or anything, but like so many times do I see the strat say a woman's fight is gonna go over. My intuition say it's gonna go over. You look at the tape, it's gonna go over. And then I look at a minus 390 and I go, oh man, my $20 wins
Yeah.
fucking whatever it's gonna be.
$7.63.
$7.63. And then I say, well, maybe I should go bigger. Or maybe I just
Yeah.
bet the $20 and I take the $7 off the top and get a little extra change on it.
Yeah.
And by that time, I've already missed the fucking fight, and I hit a bet that I didn't bet on, and it just annoys the shit out of me even
Oh,
more.
without a
So
doubt.
I know that's something that I'll be looking to work on in this next
2024.
year of betting. Yeah, because I first year was all fun, long leg parlays.
Yeah.
This year, I got a little bit more
The new
disciplined.
me of 2024 is going to really make some real money with this addiction that we have of watching everything. How about I did want to go into the break of the last minute bets. So we also do see lines that drop right at the live moment. And how do guys come up with that
Oh,
breakdown?
those are guys
Like I'm
betting
not gonna
lines,
wait.
Rhino.
I'm gonna wait at the very end and then I'll drop 10 G's because I like the line and I want to make sure that like what is the breakdown on that?
So for me, it's all those bets are guys that are like, fuck yeah, Ilya's my guy, dude. I'm fucking taking him. That's all them guys. When that shit comes in last minute, it holds absolutely no value to me.
Well, and then like what's the purpose? Why would you what's the breakdown on it? I mean, I guess in live betting, I understand, but you just didn't want to hit it before because you wanted the line to stay there to make people scared of putting anything on it. And then you dumped everything right at the last minute, I guess kind of comes to mind. Like you didn't want the line to move much. So it's almost like the red carpet guys kind of talk and say, we're just going to wait and then we'll hit it because you see them drop, some 200 points sometimes, if not more. And you're like, what in the heck? Why? This fight is not brand new. It's the last minute, but that's like the time they choose. I guess the reason is what I just don't understand.
No, I get what you're saying. It would seem like it's a sharp move, and I guess sometimes it might be, but I would think that the majority of that money is what we would call casual money.
Well, yeah, because they definitely are always going to bet at the last second because now they didn't even know the card was on, and then Connor's fighting on it, so they jump on and they last minute. I want to show off to my friends. I put $100 on Conor McGregor.
Or
You
oh
know,
my God, Cowboys fighting! I'm gonna put 50
yeah,
bucks on
yeah,
him right now. You fucking idiot!
yeah, no doubt. Mhm.
What do y'all think about, like, I know I see Trace do this and sometimes I'd be mad jealous because the motherfucker hits, but like, so a perfect example, who was it? Oh, I think it was Irene Aldana. We saw this shit live. Me and my homeboy, another degenerate better, sitting right next to each other watching the fight. I got Aldana on a parlay. I got a straight bet on her. And after that
Mhm.
first round, I'm shaking in my boots. I'm thinking, fuck, Irene looks shitty as a motherfucker. He goes to check the live line, and once again, pussy better over here. I don't hit it, but he hits plus 600 on Irene Aldana. Um, and then he gets that win. Like, I know
Yeah.
I see Trace just fucking, oh, favorite, move down, hit it. Or like somebody, a fighter that you know is good, you check them live lines after that tough first round, just bet against what they're trying to tell you to bet. You know what I mean?
I do say that sometimes that whatever's supposed to happen doesn't happen. And that kind of blows my mind in the MMA world where it's almost like Sean Strickland. He's supposed to get his ass kicked by Izzy. He can't stand with Izzy for 5 rounds and not really have any problems. And then the complete opposite happens. Those type of things are definitely starting to happen more and more. But that's why I feel that Taporia's got such a good chance of beating, uh, Volk because like
It's
it's just
funny.
his time's just over and everybody's going to talk him up because he's a goat, and they're forgetting that this guy's also got the dog in him, and he's going to come in there and scrap. And even if it goes to a decision, I can see Taporia winning.
It's funny that you bring up that Strickland fight, and Andrew is in here because another thing I'm really trying to work on when it comes to 2024 betting is not getting too cute with it. Like, I was in the space the week of that Strickland Adesanya fight. I said I'm betting Strickland by decision, and when it came down to actually betting, I saw that extra juicy Strickland by split decision and thought, well, Adesanya is good. Like, he's gonna steal a round or two or three, and it's gonna be a split somewhere. So let me just bet split instead of fucking just Strickland by decision. And there I was at the end of the night, fucking Strickland unanimous decision, and I do not have any money in my hands. So like,
Gosh, man, that had been one depressing night.
yeah, real shitty. And that's why I said, shout out Andrew. Don't get too cute with it. Bet what you think's gonna happen.
Yeah, yeah, and also, quit being a pussy. No, I guess he didn't
So
like that.
I'd
He's
like
doing
to take
laundry
the
now.
I would like to take the old fashioned approach and say I'm going to deposit whatever $100 in my account, and then I'm going to bet $2 units, and I'm never going to bet more than 10 units on a card. And it doesn't matter if I get plus 200 or minus 500 because I'm going to leave all the money sit there. And when I double my bankroll, I will double my unit size. And when I double that bankroll, I will double that unit size, because that's how it's actually supposed to be done if you want to get ahead. But the reality is, I'm going to go, man, fuck that. $7 on 20 bucks. Let me hit this parlay for a G real quick, see if I can get that. I'm going to do it every time, is the problem. I'm never going to be okay with just, yeah, I'll make $7. I don't know why. I don't know what's wrong with me. It's just how it is.
That's the hard part. You just don't want to lose. So you're like you are like your own worst enemy. Kind of like what Usman was just saying. I mean, he actually did a weird thing and gave props to Andrew, but we know as betters that we do know a lot on the game as well. It's not just watching lines. We're also doing a lot of tape research so we understand who the hell we're talking about here to see if we agree with that damn line or not. What I want to start putting in more is how I see it's hard not to see some lines, especially when you use Tapology. It's now they started putting lines on it, and I'm like, God dang, I do not want to know the opening lines, but like I just want to see guys on paper so I can compare them and make my own little guess. But nowadays they put these damn things on there and they already tell you who the favorite is or who's the dog, and I'm always kind of pissed off by it because I don't want to know. I want to try and see if I match and so I can look at that statistics and see how I'm doing towards which bookie, because then I can start making my bets on things that are on a different site for a better line. If I'm going to pick a guy, I might as well start picking them on a website that I can use. I know some states can't use it, but I'd rather start using them on a better line if I'm going to make the bet rather than leaving all of our money on one site like most of us casuals do in the casual betting community. But that is kind of my goals for 24 is to try to see if I can kind of catch them where we disagree and see how I'm doing on it. Maybe is it people in certain divisions that I'm doing better on? Am I catching, uh, more that goes to decision? The over unders. How much is that? I mean, I sometimes I don't really feel that comfortable about because I hate 2.5, the over 2.5 when you think it's. I mean, majority of these are going to decision, but I'm always just like, so for 2 rounds in 2 minutes and 30 seconds, so majority of the goddamn fight is the open. So it messes with me in the aspect of thinking that I need to, like, why am I jumping on it right now? I know this is going to a decision. It's a chick fight, but you don't jump on it because you're still terrified that all of that time they do have a chance of someone getting hurt or an injury or a submission or something like that. And when I dive on them, it doesn't happen, but sometimes I do get screwed. And now all of a sudden, what was supposed to happen? This fight was supposed to go to decision. This is two chicks that have never haven't finished anybody in their last five, and now I jump on the bite because that's what's supposed to happen, and it doesn't.
Yeah, just those obvious spots. I know when we were talking about making this space, a big obvious one was not betting on Josh Emmett by KO because that was the only way he was ever going to win. Another
Mm-hmm.
one that really just bit me in the ass was I sat there all week talking about the over 1.5 on that Jacoby Menafield, and I hit. Happy about that.
Mm-hmm.
But like, it's just sometimes you see the patterns, and sometimes it's right there in front of you. You look at Menafield; all of his losses are all but one are by decision. I think most of them are split. Only one unanimous. Since fucking Dustin Jacoby has re-entered the UFC, he's only lost by decision. Uh, he's got the slicker kickboxing from range, so that's gonna eat up time. Like we had Alonzo Menafield by decision, fucking at like plus 1,000 or some shit like that, and then even sexier with split decision and what we got. Like the writing was there. Same thing with the Emmett one. You had to look a little bit harder, but the writing was right there on the wall, and just easy misses that should be
Well, and then
hits.
sometimes you run into those others where it's the obviously it's supposed to be more of a knockout than a submission, and then the guy doesn't get knocked out, but then he gets submitted on the ground. Yeah, that pisses you off because you you throw some money on the knockout because this guy's got 8 knockouts, and all of a sudden he gets a rear naked choke, and you're like, what the fuck, you know?
Tatsuro Taira. Oh,
Yeah.
submission jujitsu guy all week. Everybody betting submission round one. When KO round one was hanging right in front of our faces. Even if you would have put freaking $4, it was gonna pay out what, $40 or some shit like that. Like,
Hmm.
it hangs right there in front of your face. And if you want to take the Andrew route, just don't get cute with it and fucking bet the finish. It was. I know who. One of the few times, I can't think of the fighter off the top of my head, but one of the few times I did say this year, fuck it, I'm gonna put 3 units on inside the distance at minus 160. And I know it sounds disgusting, but it hit, you know what I mean? Or
Hmm.
minus 120. Nobody wants to get something hard to hit like that inside the distance. Oh, Tatiana Suarez was the perfect one. I was like, man, Tati could also get on top and fucking ground and pound it. I know submission is the easy way, and submission was plus 100. But I just said, I'm a little bitch. I'm going to go ahead and hit inside the distance instead, just in case the KO happens. And it was a submission. But I mean, I cashed at the minus 125, minus 130.
Well, you can start putting in those bets on both. You know, put a unit on what you think, and then put a half a unit on if it doesn't hit, but still, gets the finish. I mean, that's not a bad bet. Or do it the other way. Put a unit on inside the distance because you're worried that it's going to be a KO, but then still put a half a unit on that submission. So then you might hit them both.
Yeah, a perfect example where I did that was Carlos Olberg. And there was a couple of times where I put my balls on the line and said, "Fuck it, no more pussy betting." And I know one of
Hmm.
those was that Carlos Olberg fight. I hit under 1.5. I hit KO and one inside the distance.
Hmm.
Fucking a unit or a half unit on every single one of them. And when it hits, it pays out big.
That turtle fight, I lost on some rounds for that because I thought he'd finish him in the second or the third. So I put some on that, and then for it to go to decision, it was like I just figured that he was going to quit. So the third round he'd get gassed from doing all the grappling, and then kind of fold with getting hit a couple times, but he stuck on for the judges card, so I got burned on that. But I did the same thing with that Bryce Mitchell uh, fight. I put him on, for the loss because I can't stand him and I think he's overrated. So that part, and I guess I shouldn't. And that's also took into my bet. I didn't really want to put into it that much because I'm like I'm biased on this. So now if I throw a bunch of money on fucking Josh Emmett because I'm pissed that I don't think uh, his stand up's that good. Then I stay away from it and I just took the money line because it was the odds I liked for a guy that I don't think is good. But I should have, went with my gut like I was. It's just it's hard to take away bias ideas in your head, and it's also pretty hard to really see if it's worth it or not. Because if you get burned, then you think about that, even though you're still got the knowledge for it to be right.
Yeah, and getting burned on those that you like, that you're really biased or that you actually watch tape and fucking look at it. I mean, it leads to doubt in the future, and it's that's one thing I'm gonna be looking forward of, like, just because the tape was there and you saw something and it didn't happen,
Hmm.
fucking don't let it bring you down and think that it's not gonna happen the next time or in another time where you see something on tape. Um, just
Well, I
go ahead
got
and
pissed off at the Tony Ferguson fucking Charles Oliveira fight because as soon as that was up, I'm like, dude, he is going to get submitted because Tony ends up always in trouble in every fight, and this is not the guy to end up in trouble in, and he's going to get submitted. And then I sat there with like, I think I put $50 on a submission, and I'm just sitting there watching the screen, watching him scream with his knee ready to pop, and I'm like, you have got to be fucking kidding me. I'm right and still not going to get this damn thing because he's not going to tap, even though exactly what my analysis was right. He's on the ground. He's getting in bad submissions. He's completely getting dominated. But I put all my money into the submission that didn't happen, and a guy whose average fights are only freaking 2 rounds.
And Tony has a broken arm, and he still isn't fucking
Yeah,
tapped.
and then he taps to fucking Nate Diaz. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Nope.
I think. I mean, like I said, this is my third year into betting, and lots of good things to learn and take away from this next year. I'll be looking at like shorting up the parlays to 2 legs, putting a little bit more on it. Like, and I know this was something you and Joe were talking about earlier of like opening. I'm in Texas. It's illegal, but I do have a couple more options. I do think when January comes around, I will be looking to put in some money into Bovada and my bookie just to give myself them options.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea. I mean, that's the new year, man. I mean, after I guess we've beat the dead horse of talking lines and betting for an hour, so let's do some open mic and random topics, and then we'll close this out probably about 11:30. Anybody got something they want to yak about?
Yeah. Tell me who. Name the champions in 2020, January 2024.
Females, I don't care, so I don't want to talk to that because I'm not
Nah,
even gonna
fuck
pick
you.
anybody.
All of them.
All of them. All right, where you want to start? Let's start with heavyweights. You're up, Joe. You pick the topic. We're making you go first.
Aside from John Jones, Alex Pereira.
Yeah, I shouldn't even let you answer the question.
That's
My
who's going to
bad.
be the champion. I don't know why. I mean, that's who it's going to be.
Yeah. Well, get some Alex Dick out of your mouth, and maybe you can talk about Tom Aspinall kicking his ass or John
Bro,
Jones
I
kicking
have
his
been
ass
telling you guys
or
since
Kane.
before Tom won the belt that AP is going to be a three division champion. I've
Not
been
going to
telling
happen,
you
dude.
guys.
It's not happening.
Look, AP maybe will hold the belt for a second, but you got to remember that the only person that's going to hold that belt for a while in the division is Jalton Almeida, and he's coming. He's coming. I was looking at UFC records just the other day, and the boy's got 4 records under his belt right now. Fucking Jalton Almeida's the shit. I'm going with Jalton by the end of 2024.
So I do agree that Gelton's the shit. Uh, But here's how I really see it, and it could go down in December because Dana loves him some heavyweight December, which could fuck everything up. But I actually think AP and Tom fight either on the June card because the June card is always big. People don't people sleep on it. The reason it's big is it closes out the second quarter and it closes out the first half of the year for the UFC, which in financial statements that all matters, right?
Of
So they
course.
will either headline the June card, which will probably end up in
Well,
Europe
no, I would say
somewhere, in
that
my
July.
opinion,
The first card
or
of July is always really big too, Joe.
or it will be International Fight Week, the first
Yeah,
card of July.
yeah.
Um, I go to Fight Week every year, and let me tell you, the June card was I saying January? My bad. The June card.
No, you
Um,
said June.
The June card fucks my card in the ass every year, bro. They take some fight that should have been on my card and they fucking bump it, or two of them, or they fill the fucking International Fight Week card up first and then
Hmm.
they go back and put better fights on the June card. So I think
That
it goes down in June or July. So AP would only have to hold the belt for 5 or 6 months. I do understand the heavyweight title fight usually happens in the last 2 months of the year. I get it. I'm just saying he could slick it through. He could slick it through, Usman.
Connor, you got your hand up. Go ahead.
Yeah, what's up, y'all? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you a little bit.
Yes, sir.
A little scratchy.
Uh, yeah, I think Tom Aspinall will end as the heavyweight champion, and then I think. Do you guys think that John Jones will retire at the end of the year?
I don't. I know that there's a lot of people on that bandwagon, though.
I say if I say it depends on who the champion is because John is promised a lot of money, but at this point in his career, he is going to mitigate risk. I can promise you that. And that's not to talk shit. He's a very smart man. There's
Not
nothing in
that
it.
smart, actually.
There's nothing in it for him to fight a Tom Aspinall. Nothing at all. There's a ton in it for him though to fight. Even though I think AP could beat Tom, I think John could beat AP, and at a much lower risk rate than fighting Tom Aspinall. I think Tom Aspinall is a way bigger risk to John than AP is, but I think AP can take Tom. So math don't work.
Do you guys
Well,
still think
because
the
you're
Stipe
talking about
fight happens?
AP winning the heavyweight division. That's what doesn't make any sense.
What'd you say, Connor?
Do you guys still think the John Jones and Stipe fight happens by sometime next year?
for
Yeah,
sure.
Dana doubled down on it like 2 days ago, bro. That fucking fight is happening. Fucking weed, Jesus Christ. Oh, fuck. He
I'm
told Tom
smoking three joints at
Aspinall
the same time.
he was talking shit to not talking shit, but he kind of abruptly shut Tom Aspinall down about the John Jones fight. So I don't think it happens.
Well, we got to see John Jones fight. I mean, when's he actually gonna? Are we gonna see him on 300? Is the injury actually true? Because if it's as bad as him and Dana have all said, with this, ripped muscle off the bone and stuff like that, it makes it sound so horrible. We have no idea if we're gonna see a John Jones in 24.
Yeah, well, we'll see him probably for like International Fight Week or that June card because the only thing I disagree with Joe about, and it's not even a big disagreement, but like I think John Jones has been risk averse his whole career in the sense of like everything has been planned out. He's always made smart decisions. I remember when I was a kid, I hated him because he didn't take the Chael Sonnen fight because I thought he would destroy Chael Sonnen, and now he ruined a pay per view for us.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, that was the smart thing for him to do, and I really do think the injury is probably as bad as it sounds, and he will take. He's not gonna pull a Aljamain Sterling and be like, "Fuck, I'm a little hurt, but I'm gonna come and make a quick turnaround." Like, no, he's gonna take the full time to not only heal, but like feel in a 100% to get ready for a fight. Connor.
Yeah, I agree. I think if they do make the Stipe fight happen, I think he'll definitely retire after that. I agree that he's pretty risk averse, and him versus AP or Tom Aspinall or Platt, any of these top heavyweights, I think that he's just going to be like the juice isn't worth the squeeze to try to fight any of them. So if he fights Stipe and wins, he's just going to call it a career.
No,
Mm-hmm.
I think if he fights Stipe and wins, and in some world Pereira fights Aspinall and wins, he takes that fight 100% because in 2 years, Alex Pereira has become a crazy star. He's become a legend in his own right, and he, of course. how quick it was, and the amount of work he's done at light heavyweight will never touch John Jones. But he has a name now. He has a story. He has a thing of like, yeah, I was a 185 champion, killed my rival, lost, but still came up to 205, did what he couldn't, became the double champ. And then if you can somehow become triple champ, like he becomes the first triple champ, John Jones is 100% taking that fight, especially with the clear path in grappling. Um,
Hmm.
but I mean that would just be a perfect storm of everything working out. But we talked about heavyweight. Joe started it off with heavyweight. I will kick it off to another division. And
What you got?
one of the things that we were talking about one of the things I was going to bring up when we were talking about the line movement is y'all motherfuckers are in the chat with me. If y'all see me talking about one of my favorite fighters, for one, fade me. For two, pull me off the ledge and don't let me bet on one of my favorite fighters. But what I'm going to say is, I already know one of my biggest bets. Well, I don't even know one of my biggest bets, but one of the things that I will be going big on is going to be Myra Bueno Silva to submit Raquel Pennington. I will be playing the submission. I'll probably be playing submission round one, round two. Um, Probably the under, depending on what they give it to me at. I look at that fight and I see Myra Bueno irritating Raquel from the distance with the teep and the long straight that she throws, making Raquel have to do what she usually does and go to the cage pushing. And Myra Bueno Silva just looks very strong at 135. I think it's going to be open for her to take it to the ground or find another submission up against the fence. I think Mara Bueno Silva will be our 135 women's champ coming 2024. I don't know if she'll hold it the whole year, but I think that's the first female champ we're gonna see.
That's a big one. I mean, I don't really get too hardcore in the female rankings and stuff like that. I mean, I like the hot ones, of course.
Um,
Anybody want to fight that? Andrew, we haven't heard from you. Youngblood, you haven't talked.
I'm actually over at Cap MMA looking at the current
What
ranking.
is that?
Yeah, I'm not going to do the whole plug. Um, but we do have all the rankings over there. So, what weight division were you just talking about there?
135 women's.
135
125, right?
women's division.
135?
Yeah, so I'm in agreement. I'm looking at the rankings right now. I would agree. Nah, it's Myra Brenda Silva probably gets the title, and then Irene Aldana takes it from her. January 2024, Irene Aldana is 135-pound women's champion, in my opinion.
Well, what about the failed test?
That's already over with.
Yeah, so I mean, does that play? I mean, how did she still get a fight if she just had a freaking pissed hot?
I don't know exactly how all that worked, but I know she got
Yeah.
the fight and got the W. So I would
Cir-
say,
Circumstances. I mean, for one, it was Adderall. Two, she had enough information, like a history of backing it up and providing the evidence that she's been doing it for a while. So I think it was only like a 2 month suspension or some shit like that.
can we be
Yeah.
clear though that Adderall is performance enhancing? I don't
A
give a
hundred
fuck
percent.
what
A
anybody says.
hundred percent.
It is more performance enhancing than some anabolic steroids. I swear to God, it is more. I've done anabolic steroids. I've done lots of them, and I'm telling you, Adderall is for some people a stronger performance enhancer than most single anabolic steroids. Meaning, like,
Well,
if you
because of the
stack fucking
focus.
8 steroids, I'm not talking that, but any single steroid you can take, um, Adderall's got to at least compete with it. So, like, I just want to be clear. that shit is fucking definitely should not
Because
be
do
allowed.
you think it's mainly because of it takes the focus and allows you to focus better?
Yeah, the
So
hyper
maybe people
focus.
take yeah,
The hyper
because a lot
focus.
of
The
people take
reason
it
you
in
see
college. First thing they
I
do.
swear to God, bro, you took the words out of my mouth. I was just gonna say the reason you see college kids get hooked on that shit
Yeah,
is you can take two fucking Adderall and laser focus on something. Like I'm be
yeah.
honest, I'm not a user of that shit. I'm not. I've never actually used Adderall. I know better because I know what it is. Uh, but I have at some point somebody needed something and I know what they needed it for and I've known a lot of people who have done Adderall, and bro, people take it to hyper focus.
Boo.
I
Who's our
watched some
ADHD
drunks take
queen?
it so they can
Boo.
stay up all night.
ADHD queen. Boo.
Well,
I'm,
I think
ADHD queen.
bro, I'm
Boo.
listen, bro. I'm
Everybody got
super
ADHD. That's why we
ADHD.
got these fucking phones in our hands all the time.
At one point, I had 32 foot of whiteboard in my garage full, bro. Like I am super ADHD, but I just don't fuck with that shit. And
Hmm. Just trying to figure out how that fucking planet's flat. It's tough, man.
yeah, bro,
She's my queen, but
I'm almost there. I'm almost there. But
I almost got it.
anyways, imagine
That
taking an
made the
Adderall.
frogs gay.
Imagine taking an Adderall on your way to the gym. I'm about to go to the gym. I'm going to pop my Adderall and get in my
Hmm.
car. Right about the time I walk in the gym and get going, I will be hyper focused,
Hmm.
super
but it
performance.
doesn't do the same to somebody that needs it that it does to somebody
yeah,
that's using it for funsies.
yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
No,
Like, it all
that's
depends on.
stop that because it's when you can't focus, you take it to focus. Fucking stop that. You don't take Adderall so that your brain keeps going a million miles an hour. When you have ADHD, you take Adderall so that you can focus. It's the same.
Hmm.
Yeah, but most people don't have that problem. So you're just like
Well,
leveling
and
out
I
the
would,
playing field.
but I'd also say that these doctors don't do that much research on these people who have ADHD. It's not like you get watched like a hawk for fucking 3 months, and then the doctor's like, okay, you definitely need Adderall. Your focusing is just way off wall. More of these doctors are like, oh, so you got a problem? Here's your fucking paper. I don't give a shit. I got other people to talk to. So it's
ADHD
hard.
is the most self-diagnosed
Yes.
thing in all of
Well, and
America.
it's one of the most diagnosed things, just like what's the anger fucking thing? People who are bipolar.
Bipolar.
Yeah, bipolar is the same thing. It's diagnosed, and you're talking about a million different people, and then others, it's just like, well, no, you're just a loser. And every time someone calls you out, you act like a child. That's not somebody who's bipolar. That's somebody who's acting like a child. But then there's other people I've really heard their breakdown of bipolarism, and it's definitely justifiable in understanding that they're on medication for it and things like that. But when you see the high amounts that we're seeing these, getting diagnosed with this, and it's almost like common, like ADHD. I mean, just sit around and I bet you if you asked online on any app or anything, you're gonna have just tons of people saying, "Yeah, my ADHD, my ADHD," because it's easy. I also think it's because, oh, I don't know, we've got all kinds of electronics right at our fucking fingertips now. Who the fuck
Okay,
thought we were
okay.
gonna be
This
talking like
space
this?
is not for us
Yeah, all
fake
right, bro.
doctors.
You
Next
chased off my
division.
fucking listeners already. Jeez, oh Pete.
Next division.
Unless
Next
they wanted some
division.
drugs.
All right, I know we were on the men's, and I know that
No, he
Rhino
picked
doesn't care for
135.
females. So 205, who's the champion January 2024? January 2025. My bad.
Jamal Hill.
With his brother in his corner.
Young
That's
boy.
that's it. Just Jamal Hill, and there's no other answer.
So this is actually such an interesting question with the way all these fucking injuries are, right? Uh, you gotta say, fuck, you kind of do have to say Jamal Hill, don't you? Because Alex is gonna would probably lose to him, and I don't know when they're gonna make that fight. Alex is gonna fight somebody before him though, so I can see that late into the year. I'll go with Jamal Hill too, not to steal Usman's answer.
I'll go Magomed.
Ooh.
just to piss
I,
everybody off for one, and then for two, because now that you've got AP, that's going to be trying to make special, stupid fights to make a ton of money. He's not going to be there. Yuri better win. If he loses his fight with Radic or Rakic, how do you say his name? Then
Racket,
he's like, yeah, Racket. If which
racket.
is he Racket took a freaking year off too. This is his first fight, and that ain't until April is when that's fucking scheduled. So that's a long no time
So
in the ring coming off a knockout. He lost. He had a knockout loss in his last fight, Dion.
So
Uh,
in November, Jamal Hill said that he would be back to full 100% MMA training in January.
huh.
Just to give you a
Oh, that's
timeline.
good. I mean, that's then.
So my prediction is, and I'm actually not fanboying out here. I'm being dead fucking serious. 2020 January 1st, 2025, Khalil Roundtree will be the 205 champion.
That's a bold
Hey, let's
statement.
go.
Yep.
I
So
like
Alex is
Roundtree.
going up. Alex is going up. He's gonna get to fight one of these guys: Walker, Krylov, Blahovic, and Kalaev, Rakic. He's going to get to fight one of those guys. Some of them are already booked. The only guy there I think that gives him trouble is Ankalaev. So if he can fight under number 3, above number 8 where he's at by mid-year, and let's say he gets Nikita Krylov, he fucking murders Nikita Krylov in my opinion, right? Yeah, so that'll put him at 6. That might not be high enough. If he could beat Rakic or Blahovic, who's sitting up at 4, he can get that title fight. And if it is Jamal or Yuri, I believe that he gets him. Zah.
Connor actually had his hand first. He could go first before me.
What a nice guy that
yeah,
Za is.
shout out. Are we? Has it been confirmed that Alex is going up? Like that, this division has been uh, just in complete disarray since John left, and now they got
Well,
a
it's
new
always been a
champion, and they're
kind of
just
a
gonna
fucked
allow
up
Alex to go
division.
up, or what?
It's always been fucked up though, Connor. I mean, all of them are. As soon as we get into these heavier weights, a lot of the problem is we don't, you know, do we get the same guys? And there's really not a lot of new signings in these upper divisions. That's why you keep on seeing the same dudes fight each other all the time. It's almost like flyweight when it first came out. Now flyweight's got a fucking ton of guys in it. So it's always bouncing around. I mean, the word on the streets, AP's going to like heavyweight and making some circus fights so he can get paid a ton of money. Uh, Za,
Is he
go ahead.
relinquishing the belt though, or are they just gonna allow him to go up?
So
Who
listen,
knows?
I was the first person anywhere that said
I was
AP.
put it as going to be a 3 belt champion. I will agree, but
And
also
the first
stop.
guy that said he's going up to 205 right away. I was the first guy. So I knew it was coming. He doesn't want to fight at 205. He's not interested because Izzy's not interested. There's not enough hype there for him. It's not like
I think
people
there's
think his
tons of
whole
hype.
life. People think his whole life is about chasing Izzy, but the truth is Izzy is the guy that can bring the moment, right? Like Izzy is the guy that makes it the biggest fight in the world. AP's not. AP's the stone killer. Izzy's the star. Jamal can't sell like Izzy can sell. Yuri can't sell like Izzy can sell. I
I
can
don't know.
run
I
down
think
the
AP
whole
can
list.
sell now.
Listen, I can run down the whole list, bro. They're not gonna sell like him and AP sold, and he knows that, or him and Izzy sold, and he knows that. But what he
Yeah.
does know is he can go up to heavyweight, and at least one time he can sell against anybody, bro. He can sell against anybody up there. Everybody's gonna tune in to see if this dude can be a 3 division champion. Zach.
Fucking dumb.
I I got a question. This is kind of not on the this
On the
topic.
topic, well, this is open mic time, so
All
it
right,
doesn't matter
perfect.
what anybody picks.
So my question is for everyone. Who you guys got between Strickland and Jurikis?
I mean, for me, DDP's definitely surprised me and how he beat, Bobby or Robbie Knuckles. But and I've seen the breakdown of trying to say that he had like the breathing problem because the gas tank's always been like the negative part on DDP. And now he had some surgery that opened up his nostrils to be able to breathe even better. And how, ever since then, he shouldn't have any issues. And he doesn't really have gas tank problems. I mean, of course, that's what everybody's going to say. I know he comes out with a lot of pressure and he tries to, overwhelm people right from the beginning. And if when you got somebody who's a real defensive fighter, that's probably not going to work out for you with somebody like Sean Strickland, who's a textbook style, guy who's always defensive. I mean, to take somebody like Izzy 5 rounds and really not get look like he even got scratched is amazing. Whether it's good corner help or it's just him being, amazingly good on the feet and Izzy not really having a grappling game to mix it up or anything like that. So I still do see that Sean should be a decent favorite, like a minus 200 on it, just because he's a veteran. He knows how to deal with people like that who are going to come in and force him right from the gun. And as the rounds go longer, he's just going to score more cards. So I will take Sean Strickland in that fight.
Man, I love Sean Strickland. For a long time, I said he had the perfect style to beat Adesanya. Um,
Did you make any money on that? Or
Shut the
is
fuck
that
up,
just a
dude. I
wet
told you
dream?
I bet
Yeah,
split
that was a
decision.
wet dream. Oh yeah, I forgot.
You son of a bitch. No, there's video proof out there. Before I was even on Twitter, I attempted to do a little podcast on my own, and there's video out there. I'll fucking find it, you bitches. Um, but I'm kind of like wondering, um, besides the whole like press conference talking about his dad shit, it did seem Drick has kind of got in his head, and I would wonder if Strickland were to try and play the defensive game, because it would obviously be the smart one, stick and move, stay on the outside, do what Adesanya would have done to him, counter on the while he comes in. Like, what happens if Drickus stands right there in the middle and starts talking the Sean Strickland shit? Like, come on, fight me like a fucking man. You know, fight me like a little pussy. Like, what would happen there? And if fucking Strickland were to meet him in the middle and start pressing forward, like Drickus, I hated him at the beginning, but I turned right before that Robert fight, and it's intangibles, man. The dude looks stupid strong. Like when you look at that throw that he landed on Robert, there was almost no technique. There was almost no leverage. It was just fucking. I grabbed the little man and I threw his ass down. Like intangibles in the sense of strength. We don't know how strong he is. Heart. We know he has a fucking heart despite looking like he has horrible gas tank. And to steal Leon Edwards' coach, being able to fucking pull winds out of the fire. How do you fucking get full mounted by Brad Tavares because you tried to suplex him and just landed on your back, and fucking Tavares landed on top of you, and then you get up and win? Like Drickus, it should easily be Strickland, but Drickus just seems to keep on surprising us.
Connor,
Yeah, I agree. I think this fight has become more and more intriguing, especially after both of their last performances. Sean especially, because he really impressed me against Izzy. from what Usman said, like if they like Dricus started talking trash in the middle of the fight, I think that, I mean, I don't think Sean would care about that at all. I think he would invite that. Sean's usually the one that's doing that, so I think that would play into how Sean fights. But I would probably pick Sean.
All right. Anybody got another fight they want to talk, or do you want to go back to a division for a little fun? I'll pick.
170.
I'll go this one. Let's go. Yeah, let's
Okay.
go to
Hold on, I
welterweight.
want to
I was
comment
gonna
on
take
that
that same
Strickland.
one.
Listen to me. Listen to me.
All
So,
right.
Chat GPT will not predict fights for you, but
Mm-hmm.
you can get it to do certain things. It takes a series of questions. And when I ran this series of questions, I should have fucking saved it, but it's on the Twitter's account. It's on the Cap MMA account. It said that Dracus Duplessis it told us that Sean Strickland was a 65% probability winner over Israel Adesanya. It told us that it would outpace him and outstrike him. It told us the further into the fight it went, the worse it would get. Chat GTP broke all of that down. So while you guys were talking, inputted all of the stats between the two of them. Then I inputted all of the statistics from their last 3 fights each. So that's all of the tail of the tape between them that you get with like the strikes per minute and all that shit. It's all of the stats from the Strickland Magnomedov fight, and the Strickland Nazardine fight, the Whitaker Brunson and Till fight. And here's what it says. Analyzing the data provided, Sean Strickland and Dracus Duplessis both have impressive records. Their stats suggest they're skilled fighters. Strickland seems to have a slight advantage in striking accuracy and defense, while Duplessis appears to have a more active ground game with higher takedown numbers and submission averages. However, predicting the winner can be challenging. The dynamics of a fight and strategies are unforeseen, and variables and impacts of outcomes. I hit it with one more question. It then comes back and tells me, however, taking into account their stats and recent performances, one could tentatively suggest a 55% win probability for Sean Strickland and a 45% probability for Dracus Duplessis. This is a broad estimate and doesn't guarantee actual fight outcomes. Sean Strickland, boys.
Hmm. I mean, you'd think the line's going to be pretty flat on that too. I mean, because I would say they're doing a pretty good job, even with the whole dad thing and all of that. I think they kind of need that shit. They need
Bro,
that to
so
really
listen,
sell.
I'm sorry, Rhino, but listen. So it says that Strickland is only a 55% win probability, right? Where the fuck is Bet Online? They're the guys that matter. So I'm over on our odds board right now.
Hmm.
Strickland only opened as a minus 145 50 days ago, which is, all right, here, let me go over to a calculator here. And all right, close the fucking pop-up, dick face. Okay, open the tools. Um, minus 145. Minus 145.
I got minus 190 up Bet Online with them.
Minus 145, which is where it opened, is a 59% win probability. So,
Yeah.
however the books are capping it, I mean, I'm just saying comparatively, GPT says 55% win probability for Sean Strickland, and the line opened at a 59% win probability for Sean Strickland. Not bad.
Well, and he just dropped. I mean, he was at that minus 145 in November, but as of the 27th, he went to minus 125. So he hasn't gone down far, but I mean, 20 points. And that's the kind of thing that I'm talking about is 20 points, something that is something to watch. I would think more because this is a tight line, especially if it goes under that minus 130, under minus 130 and dogs plus 130. That window is usually a pick 'em. That's what the book is making it is a pick 'em. Uh, so that to me should be like another flag of watch out.
Yeah, like they want. I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying.
Yeah, it's a tough one. All right, so now we'll go to the welterweight
No,
170.
middleweight, motherfucker.
I thought he said 170.
No, no, yeah, I had said 170, but actually, let's just fucking go down middleweight for sure. Yo,
Okay.
middleweight has gotten a hell of a lot interesting recently, hasn't it? Like,
Well, didn't we just suck on freaking some Sean
Yeah,
dicks
I
a
was
little
gonna say
bit?
I think
Like,
it's Sean. I'm not gonna go back into. I think Sean still has that belt a year and a week from now. I think
fuck
he
all
still
y'all
has.
bitches. Roman Dolidze is gonna sub the whole top 10.
Y'all crazy. I'm going Drakus Duplessis.
you got to give us more than that.
No, I
Yeah.
mean I get it. I was on Drakus. I like Drakus, but hear me out, bro. Because you got to know how I feel about. You got to know how I feel about Robert Whitaker, right? I think he's past his day, right?
Hmm.
So Drake has beat Robert Whitaker. He beat Derek Brunson. Y'all know? Do you guys know what Derek Brunson's next fight is?
PFL.
Um, yeah, it's
Yeah,
got
yeah.
Gegard.
something over there.
He's definitely in the PFL. He beat
Ray. He beat Ray Cooper or something like
Yeah,
that.
Ray Cooper the third.
The
all
third.
right.
He's a
But
legend over there too.
so
Oh heck yeah! Well, he's a
DDP,
legend of MMA, dude. That guy's fought everything.
so DDP in the UFC has put away Marcus Perez. You guys know who that dude is?
Bro,
Yeah.
he was a pillow fighting champion. That's not a joke. Literally a champion of pillow fights.
2-5 in the UFC, boys. Then he beat Derek Brunson.
The gatekeeper himself.
The gatekeeper himself. He didn't have a bad run at the end there. He went 5-2 in his last 7, but he lost 2 in a row.
Brad
Uh,
Tavares?
he also beat Darren Till. Man, Darren went
Woo.
like 1-5 in his last 6 or some shit, and Drakus
Yeah.
was the last one of them fights.
He was training with Shemaev at the time too, which was
Man, he beat Trevin Giles, and then Trevin Giles went 2-3, and then he beat Brad Tavares. Big stuff there. Fucking, ooh, like you boys are. I mean, he had the right path. I don't see how he gets past Sean. Sean's resume is better. Sean's a better fighter in my opinion. I don't see it. I don't see it.
Yeah, what I was gonna say to Zaw was like, this fight is in January. You'd have to think that if Dricus were to win, he'd have to defend it maybe two more times throughout the year. Like, do you think that happens? He holds it all year.
I think he wins, and then that's when Izzy's gonna pop out of nowhere and be like, "Yo, we had that fight. We got to fight again."
Yeah, that's the rematch to make if he does win. I mean, that's probably on Izzy's game plan. If he's not going to be on 300 with some special fight for that, I think that that's what he'd want to return. Maybe on that, the June card we were talking about, maybe even July fight week type of stuff, because then Izzy can come back, get the rematch against Sean. It's going to sell like hotcakes. So that definitely makes it kind of tough. And can Izzy come back and retain his title?
Man,
Oh,
no, I don't want to see Izzy come in here and just walk into another title fight after fucking getting his ass whooped in a fucking 50-45. Like, he needs to at least take take down two contenders at 185. If not, move up to fucking 205. I don't want to see Izzy come in just because of the hype, because it's super fucking lame.
I agree. I think he should go up, and
Yeah,
that's
but if it sells tickets, DW will do it. It's gonna get more pay-per-views. Then he's gonna do it. Who else is he gonna fight besides AP, Sean Strickland, or it's got to be like a past champion or something like that. He's gonna want to be the head of the card,
I don't think it's gonna happen, but Khamzat Chimaev.
or they'll have to come up with another bad motherfucker belt or something like that for the heavier guys.
All right, on to 170.
On to 170. So now that we have Leon Edwards, the point fighting champion of the world, in there, I'll take Shavkat, man. That guy gets a title shot in 24. He's fucking winning.
I wonder how long he's going to be on the sidelines with this foot injury or ankle
Yeah,
injury.
that's true.
Man, I've said it for a while now, at least until the Diaz fight, but it was there. Like, you look at that Nate Diaz Leon fight, and everybody just talks about that fifth round. And
Oh, when he landed
the
the strike,
yeah, yeah, and
pointed
it's
at him.
like, for sure, I would never say that Leon lost 1 through 4 because he didn't.
Hmm.
But somewhere in my history of tweeting, there's a in-depth breakdown about like that 1-2 straight right down the middle was not just a fucking fluke there in the fifth round. That was
Hmm.
consistently landing from round 1 to round 5, and it's been an issue before. Earlier today, I watched Bilal Leon Part 1, and Leon does move forward. He'll open up, and it's like his head is right there. And for Nate Diaz to have such good success with that 1-2 right down the middle, you look at that fourth round in the Leon Kobe fight. The only good punches that fucking Kobe landed the whole fight were a 1-2 straight down the middle, and that's always just been a pet peeve of mine when it comes to fighters. I think if you look at fighters that I hate, Adesanya, Leon Edwards, Volkanovski, Peter Yan, very good strikers, but just very obvious, ridiculously dumb holes in their striking defense
Well, don't
that I
them
think
guys you're
he's.
talking are all wrestlers, so they're kind of trying to.
I, I just think that somebody is going to take that chin, and I think it's going to be very soon.
Yeah, I do agree. I mean, he could keep on point fighting and everything like that, but there's some pretty decent guys in this division. That's why I have to take that Shavkat. I mean, yeah, you're right on the injury. Is he really going to get a title shot? And do I think Bilal really could, beat him and retain? No, we still don't even know if he's actually going to get the shot that he totally deserves. Uh, but he's kind of the same thing. I mean, the only thing difference is Bilal can use his grappling, but now we've seen Leon Edwards kind of stuffing takedowns from big guys like Usman and Kobe. So he's going to be, and he kind of chewed him up in the small amount of fight that they had in the past. I mean, of course, Bilal Muhammad has definitely increased his value since that fight. I mean, that was 21, so it was a long time ago for that situation.
I
But
thought
I
that was
can't.
19.
Was it? Oh, I'm looking at no contest was in 2021. Leon Edwards.
Okay, yeah, yeah. All right.
Question me. Zah, you want to be a co-host next week?
sure.
All right. So, I mean, who else you guys got? I mean, the rest of these guys ain't doing anything. I mean, Gilbert Burns, yeah, he gets to fight Uh, who's he gets to fight
Jack, Mel
Jack.
Meldana.
I mean, that does a lot for Jack if he wins. I mean, Gilbert Burns, I don't think he'd win the fight. I mean, what do you even get the title shot? I mean, he's a maybe. So the only other people that are really going to get title shots in 24, I would say Shavkat if he's actually heals up good, or Bilal. I mean, Bilal should totally get a title shot. Should he actually win? I don't know. I think it'd be a decision fight. I don't see either one of them actually trying to knock the other one out. I don't know whose hands up was first.
Connor.
Yeah, I honestly think it's still going to be Leon at the end of the year. The only person,
A little louder.
I mean, my bad. Yeah, I think it's going to be Leon that wins the belt, or keeps the belt, I should say, by the end of the year. I just care that Bilal gets his title shot. I don't know if he's actually going to beat Leon, but I know he's going to put up a really good fight. I think, I think he gets a lot of shit, but I think Bilal is a really good fighter. Um, if Shavkat is healthy at some point next year and can fight for the belt, he's probably got the best chance to dethrone Leon, in my opinion.
All right, Joe, what do you got?
So I've been a Bilal hater for just a little while
Yeah,
here.
5 minutes or
Um,
something.
yeah, I'm not being a hater right now though. January 2025, it's Shavkat for sure. I had to walk away. I don't know if somebody already said that. I had to check on my
Oh yeah,
daughter.
that was my first pick, of course.
Yeah,
But then they
Shavkat
brought
for sure.
his injury, and what's going to happen with that?
Yeah, I think that that's a pretty easy one. I don't know. I
I
don't
mean,
want
where do
to.
you see that? I mean, the 18-0 in all finishes. The guy hasn't even been to a decision. And even when Jeff Neal landed some and put up a decent fight, which I thought some people were, kind of being dicks to try to say that that was less like some knock on Shavkat. I was like, man, he's willing to take a punch and still beat the shit out of a guy. How in the hell is that a negative?
Yeah, I
The
don't. What the?
Nick, Usman, were you gonna say something?
I was gonna say the duality of man. I hate a fucking fighter that is like really really good at striking but has obvious defensive holes. But I love a
Mm-hmm.
fighter who is all right at striking but is just willing to eat punches to do whatever the fuck he wants. And Shavkat fucking eats punches with his big ass fucking Mongolian, Kazakh, Russian head.
Oh, without all of them can take a hell of a punch. It is true. All them guys over there, they're not really known for bad chins or anything like that. They can take a fucking beating. I don't think anybody else would even get a title shot. So Bilal or Shavkat, would Leon actually defend the title twice in 24? I don't know. He's probably going to want freaking circus fights too. That's what all these champions are wanting to do now.
Yeah, well, he's talking about going up and saying that the division is cleared out for him. So that's just
Yeah.
another reason why I dislike him. But one thing that I want to bring up is I know all of us have been wanting to fade Madalena, and we almost had him in that Hafez fight. We almost fucking had him. But something deep down in my loins is telling me that this Gilbert Burns fight is not the one to fucking fade him. Like, it makes sense. Gilbert Burns has explosive striking, explosive takedowns. He's got more than just a power double leg. But I feel like Madalena's gonna fucking chin him, and it's gonna be another one of those where the fight ends, and all of us are gonna be like, "Son of a bitch, we almost fucking had him. We'll fade him on the next one." And I think if he puts to sleep Gilbert Burns, I mean, he'll
He's entitled
definitely
to
be
talk.
Yeah, he'll be in those conversations.
Yeah, I mean he
Uh,
deserves it because now he just beat somebody who had. I mean the only hard part is that's Gilbert is coming off of a loss to Bilal is the only negative part, but I mean that's still top contention. It puts him in the talk for sure. I don't know, like the one fight that Jack went to that decision and he fought fucking what's his name? Uh, got all the shit in front of me. I'm not even gonna fucking look it up. Before Kevin Hunt, that
Hafez.
Hafez, yeah,
Yeah.
Hafez. When he fought him, I watched it again because for some reason I watched that damn fight like 4 times because I thought that he almost lost because the first round he was kind of getting they were landing both fairly evenly, but he got popped with a couple hard ones. So that kind of surprised. But then the second time, third time that I watched it, you know, Jack actually was fucking took on a lot of problems in that, and he still kind of dominated the fight. I really think that he won, and and it might have been unanimous. I don't know if it was a split. Is that a split?
Yeah, I want to say it was a split.
Um, via third round decision doesn't tell me. How the fuck's it say whether it was unanimous or it's fucking stupid. No, it doesn't say. Either way, I think he's definitely freaking solid, and you got to give him some respect to Jack. Uh, Gilbert Burns is definitely getting up there. He's on his like last straw. What else is he gonna do? He needs to smoke him, then he's got to smoke somebody else just to put himself back in title contention. They're not just gonna give. If he beats Jack, he's not gonna get a fucking title shot. He'd have to fight somebody else in the top. Uh, like Colby or something like that. But Colby's in the same thing, and he's back. They're all just wanting to make circus fights so they can make more money, which I understand. But you know, you're ranked, and that's why you guys have to fight, man. These guys in the top five, they gotta stay active because it just makes the division fucking a pain in the ass.
Well, I saw a clip of Kobe on that Tucker Carlson show talking about how he wants the Ian Gary fight next. Um, I don't think
Yeah.
that he's willing to put his balls on the line and actually take that fight, but that'd be a good one. And just to let you know, JDM won a split decision over Hafez, with Sal Diamato being the only one to give it 29-28 for Hafez. Connor.
Oh, thank you for
Yeah,
the
I saw that Colby interview and how he was talking to Ian about Ian Gary. I think if they make that fight, this might be like a hot take. If they make that fight and Ian beats Colby, he could rise up that ranks and be like one fight away from a title shot. I think they're kind of high on Ian. I think they want him to, I don't know, be a star or whatever. So if he beats Colby, especially if like Colby talks shit and whatnot, I think he could probably be close to a title shot after beating him.
Well, I would also say Kobe's waiting for his next fight. If Ian Gary uh, wins, well, then he's more valuable to take the fight. He could just be talking shit to talk shit. Let's move to the next division because my ass is starting to get old and tired. Uh, so we move down to lightweight. I'll say
Skip.
we can just move down to featherweight because Islam's staying right there.
Nah, I don't think Islam's staying there. I just don't want to
Oh,
talk
you
to
think
him
he's
for.
gonna get kicked in the balls and he'll die or something?
Nah, I think he has one more fight. Will probably attempt welterweight, and if they don't give it to him, he is going to retire. I told Cade a while back in the space that since he's such a big Justin Gaethje fan and lover, it would be
Mm-hmm.
best for him to let Charles Oliveira go out there and lose to Islam Makachev, and then Gaethje come and scoop it up after, because I don't think Islam wants to stay around long enough, and I don't think Islam is going to break the 3 title defense record at lightweight. I think he either beats Charles, loses to Gaethje, or beats Gaethje, moves up to fight the 170 champ, and retires as a double champ, or retires after a loss there. Connor?
Yeah, unfortunately, I can see Islam doing that, but man, it would be such a shame if Habib did that and then Islam sort of retired too early as well. Because he's already so close to surpassing like Habib's legacy at lightweight. He's not the same fighter that Habib is, but in terms of like title fights, title defenses, he's already close to surpassing him. It would just be such a shame for him to retire so early. But I could see him doing it. They don't seem to, I don't know, want to stick around.
Yeah, I think it's two things. Going back to the Alex Barrera thing, it's like um not really, I wouldn't even say not caring about legacy. I don't know how to say it, but like they don't care to stick around. For one, they've been doing this since they were in fucking diapers. Um but two, the belt is the thing. Like I think in their mindset, becoming the champion is the only thing that matters. Everything else, whether they accomplish or don't accomplish,
No, like
they
title
just don't
defenses and
care.
all that shit. Yeah.
Yeah, like they just don't care for it. It's not like I said, back to the Alex Pereira thing. I think Pereira would be so willing to go to heavyweight because he doesn't really care if there's nothing to, not to chase, but I don't know how to say it. Like he doesn't want to just sit there and be stagnant. It's like there was a reason that he had a glory Hall of Fame resume
Hmm.
and was chilling in a bar, wasting his money until Adesanya brought it out of him. You know what I mean? Like he fighting is just the way that he gets paid, not like anything that they supremely care about. And I think it's the same way with the Dagestanis. It's like, oh, we got the belt, cool. I'm the best, cool. Well, it's over.
Yeah. Well, and then you also have the money. Money matters. Featherweight.
December we get Ilya Taporia versus Yair Rodriguez. Maybe we get that for like August or something.
I think your Ilya could hold it for a year, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really think he's gonna get it, and I don't think there's anybody up there at the top that can get him. You got Yair, Ortega, Holloway, Allen. I don't think any of them guys could take him. I don't think Max can beat him. So
Now, I will
Evolov is
say,
supposed to fight Arnold Allen in January. Coming up here.
yeah,
January 20th.
yeah, but Evluev, like, I don't. For one, I don't think he wins that fight. That's another fighter that I'm a hater
I
of.
don't think so.
But the UFC, I think, also does not give a damn to push him. Um,
I mean, the
I
guy's got
think,
fucking all, let's see, it's got 7 fights, all decisions. It's showing on here.
I think we see two things of Ilya Taporia if he wins the belt. Um, Shit, the first one just escaped my mind. But I think he gets the belt, and they do. If this just happens to happen, if Armin Sarukian can grab the belt, whether that be a win over Islam or Islam retires and then he grabs the belt, I think they do a crazy mega super champion fight over there in Europe. Armin versus Ilya, or damn, what was the second one? Ilya
Damn
Taporia.
circus fights. I can't stand this shit.
I know. I mean, it's just. I think that's a testament to just how big of a star Ilya Taporia is. Um,
Evolov has got a lot of freaking backouts, man. He's got a lot of
Evloev.
canceled fights. I'm looking at his Evolov. He's got a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 fights that have been canceled. I mean, that's a shit ton.
Oh, okay. The second thing I was gonna say about Taporia, um, Everybody hates on him. And I was there with Joe making the testament for the change that has happened in Max Holloway. But I think Max Holloway has a better chance of beating Topuria than Volkanovski does. And people might shit on me.
Yeah.
Um,
Just
if
like because he's got the good takedown defense and it would just turn into a stand up. He just sees
stand
him with
up,
the hands.
he's got the jab, he's got the teep kick. Like back to what I hate. Volkanovski, I mean, I thought Yair was gonna kick his head off. It ended up being Islam. Max Holloway kicked his head and knocked him down in that second fight. Um, like Volkanovski, he is a great fighter. He has a great way of building on his strikes. Um, I think Max Holloway is a better fighter, if that makes sense. Not skilled wise, but fighter in general. And I think we see Volkanovski get caught by Ilya. I think Max Holloway's chin holds up. There's a reason why it's only him, Chito Vera, and John Jones that have never been dropped
Well,
in over
but
20 fights.
is Max going to do that though? Because I think Max wants to move up, even though he did horrible his first attempt at it.
So I think Ilya.
I think the
I,
cuts are getting to be too much.
I think Usman's reading it wrong. So Ilya wants to be wealthy. Um, he does. He is.
Ilya's a prince, bro. He doesn't need wealth. That's the scary part of Ilya. He doesn't give a fuck about money. The dude comes from like a fucking royal family or something. Like, that's the scary part. He's this good and this focused and this dedicated coming from money. He wakes up in silk sheets and fucking trains.
He's rich like that.
I'm
Yeah,
like coming to America shit.
I let me look into it, but from what I've seen, is that he's got like I'm not even talking old money. I'm talking about OL apostrophe E money. You know what I mean?
Jeez.
Nah, I mean, look into that. But
What was that Prince boxer? What was his name, Joe? You know what I'm talking about? There was a prince that was a boxer.
Azine,
Yeah, or something like that. I forget his
Prince
name.
Azine.
Put on a hell of good fights, man. In boxing. Good boxing matches, I guess.
Well, my point is that he wants a big contract, and I know that he does. And I feel like
He
he
deserves it.
and I feel like he can run through the top five again. I feel like if he beats Volk in January, right? They're fighting. No, wait, they're fighting in February.
I'll look it up here in a second.
Either way, they're fighting in the first quarter. I think see him fight two more
I
times.
think it's February.
I think we see him fight two more times this year. I think will be one of those guys that everybody's like, "Holy shit, why is this guy so active?" Because he'll get good money for those fights. I think he will fight way more when he's getting the money.
Yeah, February 17th.
Oh yeah, so if he does it the right way, he could fight again in July, August, and then make it again for the end of the year.
And what does it say for Volk? He loses that title. Does he just come right back and take another fight? I guess it all depends on how bad he loses. Because I mean, like, what else does he have to prove? And he definitely can't. I mean, as much as he did do great in the first attempt at Islam, he's not going to be able to compete at lightweight.
In my opinion, we are going to see.
AP's not coming down to lightweight, Joe.
I think we are going to see the BJ Penning of Volkanovski.
Nah, he's just going to fall apart and keep on fighting and get knocked out.
7 in a row, baby. 7 in a row.
7 in a row. He's going to Tony Ferguson it. God damn.
BJ did it first, bro. BJ did it first.
Yeah, that's true. And then he even got beat in the parking lot.
No, no,
Way
no,
more
no.
money.
See, that shit's perfect. No, Rhino, you said it perfect. See, he's already done it. So now BJ's out of everybody's minds. That's absolutely perfect. Let's keep it that way.
All right, bantamweight. So O'Malley's still going to be holding on to that belt. I'm kind of on the Sean O'Malley train a bit. I can't stand him as a person. I think he's the most annoying fucking guy on the planet. I can't stand his hair, his tattoos, his mouth, his freaking any of that part. But the guy's got lightning in those stick arms of his, and he lands some pretty good stuff. And he's just going to get better on the grappling part of it. That I don't think a grappler's just going to come in there and take him down. I mean, he's too tall. His lengthiness helps, and all of that stuff. And the way the guy trains, he is just going to get better and better and better in that. His competition in that division. Let me pull up their ranking again.
Bro, Sean O'Malley is ducking the fuck out of Merab Dvalishvili. And after Merab Dvalishvili, Usman come off the ledge. Do not bet Henry. Take Merab. After Merab mauls Henry Cejudo, they are not going to be able to deny his title shot. January 2025, Merab Dvalishvili is the 135-pound champion.
By lay and pray, hug it fest.
By butt humping, if that's what it takes.
Yeah. He's gonna hump his leg like a dog.
He does not care. He does not care.
5 rounds. Yippee. I mean, the hard part is it still is Henry Cejudo. I mean, you're not giving him anything. You're giving
Usman
Henry
is going to be
nothing.
coming
An
back in here
Olympic
going.
athlete doesn't even get a round. He's just
Usman
gonna
is
get
going to be coming back.
manhandled by a guy who didn't go to the Olympics.
Usman's going to come in here and be going, how the fuck did Henry not get one round? How did he not get one round? Like, I like Merab. Like, Merab's my guy, but like, how did Henry not even get one round?
It doesn't even sound like that. You're doing a horrible job.
I'm listening. I'm a
I
little
could see.
busy, you motherfucker. Give me a second.
Quit doing laundry. Tell your wife to get a freaking. I don't care about her second job. This is her job. Supposed to be doing that laundry, not you. I don't know, man. I think Henry Cejudo is
Your
still
wife
going to put
smacks
up
you
a
a lot,
decent
don't
fight.
she?
Huh?
Your wife smacks you a lot, don't she?
No,
I'm
she stays upstairs away from me. This is my basement. So Henry still is going to put up some type of fight. I don't think Merab's just going to be able to do his wrestling technique against an Olympic guy and not get taken down himself or reversed. Henry Cejudo he's a different breed. He's a guy who grew up his entire life wrestling. I mean, you would at least have to say that their grappling on the side is even, if not more, on Henry Cejudo.
Bro, you know he turned 62 a week before the fight, right?
And he is fucking old. I mean, Father Time, I agree with you on that. And I can totally see, scorecards go. I think it's a split decision fight.
Henry went to split with Aljo, right?
Let me pull up.
He won that fight, but yes, it was a split.
I disagree, but yeah, something like that. It went the distance for sure.
Yeah, it was a split back in 2016.
Merab
I guess we're
killed him.
talking about shit from 7 years ago.
No, we're not.
The split decision to Joseph Benavidez was in 2016.
No.
Sterling.
Aljamain, bro. What are you
Oh,
talking
Sterling?
about?
I thought you said Benavidez. I
The
thought you were
fuck?
talking about the old one.
No. He went to split with Aljo, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Merab's gonna kill that man. Don't bet him, Usman. I mean, do what you want. It's your money, but
You should
don't
just
worry
bet
about
the
it.
over because if he wins, it's going to be by fucking nut hug. He's not finishing anybody. Henry's got a gas tank for days, too.
Bro, I opened a bag of chips. They're so salty. I am gonna put them aside and make my wife try them. That's impossible.
It's like somebody dumped salt in the fucking bag. They're
I mean,
like,
that Father
salt.
Time is definitely against him. I definitely agree with that. I mean, he's 36, but Henry Cejudo still, he can grapple for days. So I wouldn't be. I don't know. I honestly don't like guys that fight like that. You know, the lay and pray style. It used to be ground and pound. Now it's just turned into more fest.
Henry.
And judges aren't giving as much points to that crap anymore.
How
I
many
mean, he'll
times
land
do you
some
think Henry
solid
will be able to
punches.
get up?
Huh?
How many times do you think Henry will be able to get up with his old ass?
Oh,
No, I think getting up
he's
is
not
gonna
that
be the
old. He's not
easy.
40.
I think getting up is gonna be the easy part. Marab doesn't have the control that Aljamain has. Um, I'm more worried about the strength and size along the fence of Marab. Man, fuck you, Joe. Literally, like I can't think about this fight without thinking my homie has to fight my hero because this shit, like you live in my head rent free, you son of a bitch.
Hilarious.
The truth is, though, your homie's got to go beat your hero up, but he's your homie. But that's your hero, and you'd be like,
So
"Nah,
who's
bro,
got the
don't do
belt at
that."
the end of 24?
It's like your homie being like, "All right, bro, I gotta go beat your uncle's ass," and you being like, "Nah, bro, that's my uncle," and him being like, "I know, bro, but
You
you know I
banged
gotta
my
do it."
wife.
And
Okay,
then
beat the
you
shit out of my
understand it,
uncle.
and you totally understand him being like, "I do know he's got an ass whooping coming, but could you not whoop my uncle's ass?" And him being like, "Nah, bro, but we're still homies afterwards." And then he whoops your uncle's ass. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just coming, bro. It's coming.
God.
Anyways,
Who has the belt at the
this
24?
135 division has got me like all over the place. I do not know who holds this belt at the end of the year. I do see a path where Sean O'Malley is still holding it. I probably wouldn't like it, but no clue at all. Because if I say Marab, then like that means he's got to beat Cejudo, and that fucking sucks. And I think Marab has a great, like if he gets past Cejudo, I think he has a great opportunity to hold O'Malley up against the fence, and that's that. Um,
Hey, it was recently mentioned that Aljamain Sterling employed an old tactic, and this wasn't by one of his like rivals. That he employed an old tactic and friended Marab on purpose so that he wouldn't have to fight him. Big John went into a little bit about how he named off like 4 or 5 other fighters that have done it. And he's like, the reason that you never seen them fights is because them guys knew as champion that dude would be a problem. And they made friends with him in the gym just so that dude would not fight them. And he says that he believes that's why Eljo and Marab are friends.
Bro, let me ask you guys: Do you guys really think that Dana's gonna let Sean O'Malley fight Marab when he knows he's just gonna put him up on the cage and hold him? Like, do you really think he's gonna let a pay per view just go down the drain to let that shit out? Like, I think he's gonna find fucking ways and excuses to not make him, that contender.
He's definitely dreaming for it.
Well,
I agree with you on
to
that.
comment on
That's
that,
why he wants Henry Cejudo to beat him.
Eljo recently talked about his pay-per-view check from the Sean O'Malley fight and how that check basically makes him privy to how many pay-per-views were sold because he knows how much he gets per pay-per-view and he knows how much that check was. And he said flat out, he goes, I'm not going to lie. He goes, it's not like it wasn't a good check. He said, I'm not bitching about it. He goes, but for the way this guy made it sound, for the way this guy made it sound like I was going to get money, it wasn't really all that. It wasn't even really that much, to be honest. or that much more than some other bags I've already gotten, to be honest. So he's implying that Sean O'Malley don't actually sell shit. Um, and if we go to you can just Google the top 100 pay per views of UFC all time, and I mean,
It's
there's
just
pay per
Conor
views.
Ronda.
No, there's pay per views down there that are like 350,000 buys. So if it doesn't appear in the top 100, Sean's not selling shit. Because to appear in the top 100, you only got to sell like 400,000, bro. That might be the top 50. You only got to sell like 400,000. So Sean O'Malley might not be as big of a draw as we think. And to be honest, even though Marab kept butt humping that dude, who did he do that to? I forget, man. Was it
Peter
Jan?
Yan.
Peter
Jan?
Yan.
Yeah,
Fuck
bro.
yeah.
His stardom shot up. We all loved it. We all loved it because it was so fucking much of it. No one came in bitching about it. If he does it again and again, twice more, there's in my opinion, he could be as big of a star as Sean O'Malley. I
No, I
don't.
mean, when you think about it, like Sean O'Malley's fan base is young. The young fan base steals pay per views. They don't pay for them. Um,
Yeah,
and
but where
that
I think he helps them is
Now that is fact right
I
there.
think he helps them everywhere else. I think he gets high social media views, high Twitch views, high all of that shit. But I'm 100%
I
with
wonder
you.
how much money they make in that too.
and,
My kid knows who Sean O'Malley is, right? That's legit. It's actually the only fighter, and I've told you this before, that he's ever been like Sean O'Malley's fighting, right? Not who's fighting this weekend. Anybody good? No, no, no. When O'Malley's fighting, he's like Sean O'Malley's fighting, right? And I'm
and it
like, yeah. My kid is also like, could you text me that link?
Hey, yo.
well, that I think that's the worst part as a Cejudo fan is that like for a lot of the fan base, I think you hear American fan base, you hear shit like us Americans will just fucking go for anybody who they like, despite country, despite any of this and that. But I think a lot of people, cringe or not cringe, do like Cejudo. I know there were the rumors and numbers that Cejudo versus Aljo fucking sold a lot. Um, and what you're saying about Marab getting stardom off of beating Peter Yan's pussy bitch ass. Um, like if he can do
A
the
lot of
same thing to
ass.
Cejudo, that's just another big ass fucking thing. And then if Cejudo could get the win, they're hoping he goes in there and loses to Sean O'Malley to give him the extra push. Like that's what they're using him for. Whether you think he sells a pay per view or not, he has the title resume. He has some of the biggest wins. He has the legacy of Olympic championship and stuff like that. Like that is something to either use or build off of.
Yeah. I mean, and they're using Henry. I get it, but I feel like Marab has the potential to gain that Nurmagomedov stardom, to dominate people for the next 3 years in the fashion that we've seen him dominate Jan and just make people love him. I really think Marab has that potential. And I
Hmm.
would like to comment on what you said about not, you know, I agree that we have a huge problem with people from the United States not voting or rooting for people from the United States. And the funny thing is, the rest of the world, a lot of the athletes from around the world, MMA fighters, including all the Russians, they want MMA to go to the Olympics with a watered down set of rules. And the reason they want that is because they are all super nationalist about MMA, and we are not. We will root for anybody. My grandfather's from Ireland. I'm Conor McGregor. Shut the fuck up. You know, like, bitch, you've been in America your whole life. I'm with you on that. I don't like Henry Cejudo because I met him and he's a fucking asshole.
I second
Tell us
that.
what you really think.
He's a fucking 5'4" Mexican. Did you think he was gonna be a nice guy, you idiot?
Nah, bro. No, no, no.
Fucking cut
Not
him some damn
asshole as in
slack.
mean. Not asshole as in mean, and I want to smack him. Asshole as in sat there with a no name fake celebrity and pretended to big time all of the fans at the fucking expo that were standing in line to meet the dude instead of just shaking their hand and being like, hey, man, it's nice to meet you. How are you? Instead of doing that, no, no, no. You know that MMA roasted guy? The
Yeah,
fucking
Hmm.
I know exactly what you're talking about. What I would say is, for one, they've came out and said that that was the whole bit to sit there and be assholes to everybody. For two, you say there's a lot of Mexicans in Michigan. Go hang out with them more, because if you give a Mexican some money, he's gonna start sticking. He's gonna start sticking his nose in the air. And this guy is tiny, so you know what? You cut him some fucking slack, and you love Henry Cejudo because he's the fucking youngest Olympic champion of fucking wrestling. You son of a
Hey,
listen
but
here,
bitch.
don't
bro. Where
hey,
I get
but
my
don't be
haircut,
bullshitting us though, bro.
where
Because
I
you
get
said
my
he was
haircut,
5'4". That motherfucker's 5'3", and you know it.
he's 5'2" tops, bro. Listen, 5'2" tops, bro. He's 5'4" with the hair. With the hair, he's 5'4", and only with the fucking hair is he 5'4".
But to go
See,
back
no, no,
to
no. Wait, hold on, real quick. There is a bunch of Mexicans here, and where I get my haircut and shit, bro, they don't speak English. It's all Spanish, and I don't just mean at the barbershop, the grocery store, the party store, the restaurants, everywhere around there, they don't really speak fucking English, right? None of them know who Henry Cejudo is. Just saying.
because Americans go for Henry Cejudo.
Well, they don't even know English. How the fuck are they going to know our goddamn
No, you know
gold
why?
champion? Jesus Christ!
Because
Then they go find
Americans
somebody
don't
that
give
doesn't
a fuck
speak.
about wrestling.
Yeah, a lot of minorities that freaking live here too from other countries, they don't know anything about the big four sports. I was sitting at a freaking baseball game one time with a guy from Russia, and we're watching the game, and he says, a real competition or a real effect is the art of dancing takes a lot more talent than this game. And I'm like, what the fuck did you just say? Oh, I see. You ever seen anybody throw a 90-mile-an-hour fucking fastball and then somebody smack it 500 fucking feet? You're gonna try and tell me somebody
Do you guys
dancing
hear
is more
Rhino's
fucking?
American sticking out? Bro, tuck your American back in, bro. It's sticking
Oh
out.
yeah. I was
Listen
just like,
here.
what the fuck are
Listen
you
here.
talking about? This
Listen
is
Hey,
the
here.
game.
But
The
Joe,
big
just
four, the big four of sports is soccer, Formula One, MMA, and baseball, bro. I don't know what you're talking about. Probably hockey and fucking football. Nobody, no, no,
No, I'm
no,
talking about
no.
America's big four. America's big four is the NHL, NBA, the NFL, and baseball.
Name
That's
15
it.
NHL players.
Name 15 NFL players. I can.
NHL. NHL.
Oh,
It's a big four.
NHL.
Yeah, active players. Come on. Come on.
Oh, freaking
You're as fucking cracker.
Crosby,
Look at him trying to fucking
Darren
Google it.
Larkin, uh,
Nobody cares about hockey
Nathan
right now.
Gerby. There's a ton of people still watch fucking hockey, dude. It still is. You
Really?
got all kinds of.
Really?
Oh, it's
Find
the
me
fuck
one.
is. What do
There's
you think?
Andrew
NHL's
over
going
there.
out of business?
There's Andrew over there because Vegas got a new team. That's it. He's the only one, bro.
Hey, Vegas knows hockey, bro. All we do is win.
Shut the
They
fuck
put
up.
on pretty
They
good
got
entertaining
lucky.
games too.
anyways, to bring it back to fighting, real man sports.
Because
Um,
hockey is scripted.
not
Hey,
like
hockey actually offers fighting in it.
Hockey is scripted. Anyways, let's go.
Yeah.
if going back to what Joe said, like I always tell YB, I don't know how people really hate on Marab personality wise. Like, the dude fucking cracks me the fuck up. I think the dude's got a contagious personality. You see that video of him fucking trying to get his homeboy laid, where the girl was like, you got a friend? Yeah, yeah, I got a friend. And he starts hyping up his boy, and the girl's like, all right, all right, seems like it can work. And then he's fucking there behind him, shaking his homeboy, like, yo, we got it, we got it. Like, Rob's a fucking funny ass dude. Uh, like, MMA Mark is down there giving me hella thumbs down, but like Sean O'Malley, I like Sean O'Malley too. But like we see him in these press conferences, and I'm just like, where's all the extra personality
He
that he
has none.
usually has?
Yeah.
He
Well,
really
they need to
can't
get
tell
some
though.
fighters in.
Like, did you guys hear what Sterling had to say? Like how he was upset he didn't sell anything, any pay per views or whatever.
That's because 9-year-olds don't know how to buy a pay per view.
Well, and all of the
You guys want to
15
hear a
to
hard fact
25
that
knows how to use their computer to watch it for free.
I'm probably a dick for saying, but I don't care.
Well,
The
you are
truth
a dick,
is,
so it makes sense.
Sean O'Malley lost all of his grown man fan
Cause
base.
his girl thing.
Yeah, because he lets other dudes fuck his girl, bro.
Yeah.
Nobody's getting behind you. Like you can say what you want. I'm not being an asshole. Nobody's gonna go to work and be like Sean O'Malley. His buddies are gonna be like, all his buddies fucked his wife. You know what I mean? Like you can't be a Sean O'Malley fan amongst the guys anymore. And when that goes out the window, so does a lot of your fans. Like that's just the reality. It's just the fucking reality.
Don't get me wrong, I like watching him fight, but aside from that, it's like, yeah.
Same here. I can't stand it. The rainbow hair and all that shit. Like, that's not a fighter, man. And then all these cuck shit, with Ian Gary and him. That shit ain't for me. All right, we got about 15 minutes. My fucking high ass is going to bed. So what's the last topic?
Isn't there
Or we're
another
gonna go
way?
to fly. Oh, we got one more flyweight.
Wait, I think what's that guy Umar Nagomedov? I think he becomes champ.
Yeah,
Nah,
I think he'll finally get his title shot, and I agree with Zach.
He can't
nah.
beat Sean.
For some reason, I feel like he's good in both stand up and grappling, but he just continues to be put on the back burner, and it's like they're
He
gonna give
doesn't
him
show
this.
up for fights.
They're gonna give him this fucking Conor McGregor, or not Conor McGregor, this Corey Sandhagen fight, and some weird shit is gonna happen, man. Even if he wins, it's gonna be by fucking some no contest or some shit. Like, I, I feel like he's got that Magomed Ankalaev curse for sure.
The reason he keeps getting overlooked is because he beats unranked opponents and somehow gets ranked. Then he beats more unranked opponents and somehow moves up in the ranks, and he doesn't show up to fights.
Can I make a bold prediction for mid 2025?
We're going far in the future. Let's hear it.
Yeah, I'm talking serious though. Like I'm not fucking around. I think by mid 2025 we could be looking at booked or in talks at least for Tatiana Suarez to be the first three division women's champion.
Jesus fucking Christ, Joe.
I'm dead fucking serious, bro.
She fights at 35.
What?
She can, I'm
No,
sure.
dude, Cyborg.
Is it going to be a tables, ladders, and chairs
No,
match?
you tell me who in the UFC is gonna beat Tatiana Suarez right now at 135. You tell me
Cyborg.
which one of them fucking broads is gonna beat her right now. Just tell me,
Pregnancy, probably. So she's not going to get the fight.
dude. You tell me which one of them chicks is gonna beat her at 135, and I'll listen to your argument. But nobody can because none of them are talented enough to beat her.
So if Nunez comes out of retirement, comes back,
She'll
she's
be
just going to
old
get
as
smoked.
fuck, and Tatiana will choke her ass out. Old ass bitch.
Maybe after she gets divorced.
Bitch, so her girlfriend got gray vagina hair, and I'm supposed to say she's coming out of retirement. Get the fuck out of here.
Mm-hmm.
Look, so to go back to that shit I was saying about Ilya Taporia, I've been scrolling through so many websites, a bunch of different Google searches right here this whole time, and I can't find any information other than a name of his mom and dad, and that his dad is businessman. I looked through history, family history, and they basically have moved all over Europe, specifically for Ilya Taporia to train at different places. So, no family history, businessman, lots
Also,
of moving.
so he's not a prince or a fucking knight or whatever you thought he was.
No, what I'm saying is he's something around there, except there's a reason why all this shit is hidden, and it's just businessman, and they've traveled all over the place specifically for him to train.
They
Yeah,
bred him from a baby to be a fucking killer.
that's true. I mean, like people do it all the time now. They think their kids are good. I mean, you always hear the stories. That life is all of that sport. I've known some people that played in the NFL and in the NHL. And I mean, the one I went to high school with him, he transferred to a private school his sophomore year. And then he ended up playing for Boston College, won the Frozen Four, and then played for the Hurricanes and the Sabres. But I don't know much about hockey, according to Joe.
Yeah, I mean, if your kid's good at something, why not
But
make
that's what they're
try and
going
make
to
an
do.
opportunity
So
out
him
of it?
saying that they're traveling around, if they're traveling around to get him in certain gyms, they've noticed his talent a long time ago, and he's got a hell of a track record with wrestling, doesn't he?
Yeah, he went to like school specifically for Greco wrestling and shit. Uh,
Well, like champion, or did he? How many tournaments did he win, or anything like that?
nothing that I can find here.
No, he
That's
didn't win
that's
anything in grappling.
accomplishments. Nope, it's all been specifically towards MMA fighting, and that's why I say they got money, money.
Yeah, well, he's a businessman. Put everything
Businessman.
into it.
That's all it says. Zaza Taporia, businessman.
Hmm.
Zaza Tuporia, fuck yeah.
Yeah, huh, that's crazy. Still, so I'm probably gonna have Tatiana freaking nightmares because she's gonna
Yeah,
kill everybody.
yeah. I definitely think that Tatiana wins 115 and 125. I don't know about 135
That's a stretch.
She's a
just because of the size.
Brazilian chick.
What?
The
She's
what
about to
chick?
lose to the Brazilian chick she's facing next.
Amanda Lemos ain't about to
Yeah,
beat no motherfucking Tatiana Suarez. Get the fuck out of here, bro. You fucking crazy.
take the
You
over.
better
That
be,
man just hit a fucking nerve.
bro.
Bet
You're
I'm telling you right
crazy.
now, I'm telling you right now that unlike Zhang Weili, Tatiana Suarez will finish Amanda Lemos.
bet Amanda Lemos so that I can hit Tatiana Suarez minus 1,050 instead of 1,100.
You
She's
ain't
not.
lying,
She's not Bo Nickel.
Oh, just
bro.
watch it. Just watch it. It's gonna be at least fucking 600.
There will come a day when you say that bitch is the greatest of all time. That day will come. I just want you to know it
Now
will
she
come.
better hope that no issues will come in because her age, she's already 33.
She's already beaten cancer and neck surgery. There's nothing that can
That's
stop
not a
her.
good thing. That's not a good thing either. Over time, and more freaking surgeries and cancers. I mean, she's probably going to beat up Jesus next, the way you guys talk about her.
She probably whooped his ass already. To be honest, bro, he probably got out of pocket before. She probably just put it down. Don't fuck
Chill
around.
out, Joe. You know Jesus never taps.
No one
Never.
beats the Great One. No one beats the Almighty.
Hey, you know who Eddie Griffith is? Usman?
The comedian?
The
Yeah.
comedian? Yeah, of course.
You ever seen
The
his stand
undercover
up about how
brother.
Jesus whistles?
No, I don't think
Was it on
so.
the dysfunctional family?
He blows through his hand.
That was a good one. 125 men. Does Pantoja hold it all the way up to 2025?
Maybe.
Yeah, I'd say he's most likely to retain besides Islam. Um,
I'd say he's most likely, besides Islam, to retain for sure.
I think if Albazi can show the growth to beat Moreno, Albazi is a shoe-in to beat Pantoja. That's my most anticipated fight for 2024. If
So
Albazi can beat Moreno, that's the fight I want to see. Pantoja versus Albazi.
I forgot about El Bazi, if I'm being honest, and I'm high on him. Yeah, El Bazi for sure can beat Pantoja, and it's going to be on the Saudi Arabia card after he beats Moreno.
Like, I don't understand why everybody hates Albazi.
Because his
Um,
last name's El Bazi.
No, Joe. They hate him because of his last fight. They think that Kai Kara France got robbed.
Yeah, I
Nobody
agree.
thinks
Wait,
that
think?
except for you people that live on the islands over there. Nobody else thinks that.
Again, Australia and New Zealand are two different countries.
I said
He
islands,
said the islands,
plural,
so that would
plural.
be plural. That's more than one island.
Yeah, we might have similarities, but we are different. And
Australia
I,
is
I,
just a big ass
Your
island,
flags
huh?
look too much alike. We
I'm
can't get
just
past
saying.
that,
I
dude.
initially thought it was a robbery, but in hindsight, no.
How's that island got like 4 fucking time zones on it, little motherfucker? I don't get it.
Because it's a big ass fucking island.
I used to
Why they
I
call
used
it
to leave
that?
work at 8 in the morning and get to work at 8 in the morning because I'd cross the border. It was
Ah,
fucking weird, man.
that's crazy. Yeah, I cannot imagine that. Well, I always think it's crazy when I drive to Chicago and we like lose an hour when I go to Chicago, and I'm like, what the fuck? Like it's so close, but then
Yeah, that's
Chicago's
exactly
in the
what it's
same
like
time
here.
zone. And then
I'm
my
like,
buddy lives in Oklahoma and he's in the same time zone as Chicago, but I'm like, that's so much farther over. So I always think he's a 2 hour difference, but he's not.
yeah, it's weird. I'm probably like 45 minutes, maybe 50 minutes from the Queensland border from New South
Okay.
Wales. So like, yeah, I would work right at the kind of start of Queensland. So yeah, when I cross that border and the time would change, I'm like, oh, it's the same fucking time it was when I left my house. It's weird as fuck.
That's crazy. But it is so close. All right, guys, I'm gonna have to cut it. The big thing that I do want to tell everybody that's in here that we are going to get back onto our regular schedule once we get into the new year and start pushing our Tuesday night. That's ran by our man Joe in here. He usually goes over some fun topics with his co-host Andrew, who's also in here. They always go over new fights. Joe's always up to give you the scratch it or bet it. It's some good fun talk on Tuesdays, Fridays when we're kind of giving all of our information with Trace, who's going to break down everybody on who we got for picks and parlays and stuff like that throughout the week. Let's everybody else kind of chime in with some open mics on that. And then on Sundays, you got me and Usman going over the results and kind of seeing what line stuff we should have watched or what things that we did catch up on and what we hit. So that's all what makes it a little bit more fun. And we'll have a good 2024 and try and make some of that fucking money. Anybody else want to say a shout out? Other than that, this is Cap MMA. We have a website, capmma.com. Check it all out. We've got everything. Joe works on it really hard, and it's a pretty good free site.
Gotta plug the YouTube. I know we got a lot of usual listeners in here. If you're not hitting the YouTube, you don't gotta watch. Just give us a little subscribe. Try to build that fan base up a little bit. And Cap MMA. That's the name of the game, baby.
All right, I think we'll be back on Tuesday. Other than that, everybody have a good, happy new year, man. Don't get too fucked up.
Y'all
Too
have a good
late.
New Year.
Happy New Year.
Peace.
Peace.
Later.